Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Australian Speedway League's Speedway Championship, and once again Wednesday night we get down and dirty here on RRTV. So before we get into it, our commentary team tonight is Sean O'Hara and myself, Bernie Weimer. So welcome, Sean. The street stocks are out there at Eldora once again.
Yes, good evening, Bernie, and it is that time of the week again, time to get some dirt action on the track. So the street stocks are just in their warm-up, so looking forward to another good show here again tonight. We do have a good turnout, so hopefully all the guys and girls on the track can put on a good show for you, the fans out there.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I love it when the street stocks come out. Also love it as the night goes on and the dirt midgets will be out after these guys, and then we finish with the big bangers. But at the moment in the street stocks, folks, we have 16 cars out there in warm-up, so not a bad turnout.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody coming back this late in the championship. So just shows that everyone's here to put on a good show and have some good racing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if the folks in there are on our YouTube channel, you can use a chat to ask us any questions. We'll do our very best to answer them. And if you know any inside goss, also put it in there and we'll see if we can leak some information. But let's have a look at the weather here at Eldora at the moment. Track temp, I don't know if that's right, 39.8 degrees Celsius. That's a hot track.
Yeah, it does look very hot at the moment, so we are expecting this track to blow off very quickly and have a slick line probably by the end of time trials, if not, definitely by the feature tonight.
Yeah, and looking at the air temp, it's cooler, 25.6 degrees, so yeah, I think we did this last week, didn't we, when I was going, how can the track be that hot? But I guess, you know, baked mud and dirt does most likely suck in the heat.
Yeah, also early in the night you've got the extra water in the track, so that does help the track temperature heat up. So we will go through your running procedure tonight. So currently on the track at the moment we are just doing some practice laps. From there we will move into qualifying, where we will do 3 laps each car gets the track to themselves and they can go as fast as they can to set our grid for tonight. From there we will then move into our heats. We will have 3 heats and each heat will be 8 laps. We will take the top 5 from each heat. If you're unlucky enough to make the top 5, you'll be going through to our B main, which will consist of 12 laps, and that will then lead us into our 30-lap feature. Bernie, these formats in dirt, always exciting.
Oh, they certainly are. I love it. I like the reason is it's cutthroat. We often see drivers drop out during the night if they don't qualify, and it makes it for action-packed. The other thing I like is we don't run under yellows up until the A main, the feature race. That's when we get the yellows out, so it means we don't get a lot of cautions during the evening until we hit the A main, and that also puts a lot of pressure on the drivers to do well.
Yeah, so just a little bit of an explanation for the fans out there. At the moment, with the current system, laps under yellow are counted. So if we had yellow flag laps, your average yellow flag lap as the least it can be is 3 laps. So we almost lose half our heat if we went to yellows. So hopefully in a couple of builds to come, they may stop counting the yellows, which will then bring yellows back into heats, and that should make things even more interesting.
Yeah, fantastic. Gets that much closer to realism, doesn't it? But we better get into the street stock point score here, folks. So the top 10 at the moment, Brett Wheeler, well, he continues to lead this championship. He struggled a little bit last week, but he's looking on fire tonight. Second fastest in practice at the moment. Zach Masters, he's sitting in second on the point tally on 956 points. A bit of work to do. We'll bring this up and see if Zach's in there. He's 6th fastest in practice at the moment. Nathan Clark sits there in 3rd in the point score, 944 points. Nathan's 5th fastest, only just missing out on 4th fastest there. John Schultz sitting in 4th, 942 points, and I think Nathan and John swapped around last week, and John's 10th fastest in practice. Gavin Sadler, he's sitting 5th on 936 points, and he's not in the top 10 in practice at the moment, so a bit of work to do for Gavin, but he generally, as the night progresses, he gets stronger, so we'll see if that's the case tonight. George Fullerton sitting in 6th on 826 points. Troy Smith in 7th, he's equal with George Fullerton on 826 points. Then Ryan Gorton, the fastest in practice tonight, and he's sitting in 8th on 802. So if his performance holds tonight, we can expect him to be moving up through the points. Shane Davies, Shane, in 9th on 744 points, and he is not in the top 10. I'm not even sure if he's out there. Daniel Gower, he rounds out our top 10 in the point score on 552 points. So rather interesting point score there, Sean.
Yeah, definitely is close between the top 5 there. So these guys here tonight definitely looking at putting in a solid effort to try and stay within that top 5. We will only have 4 rounds left after tonight, so the worst thing that can happen now is a bad round.
Yeah, exactly right, and it's closing in, and if you're wondering what that big gap is down at 10th there, folks, it's that gap's there because the drivers down that far haven't competed or scored points in every round. But there's still a lot to play for. But at the moment, Brett Wheeler, he's got his hand firmly grasped around that trophy. And it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Can Ryan tonight take out the win? And can he start moving up that point score?
Yeah, Brett struggled a little bit last week. We were talking to him in the booth after the race and just didn't get that car dialed in for the racetrack last week. But he has put a quick time at the moment in practice with a 19.70, just went to a 19.582. So he's currently 2/10 quicker than Ryan Gorton, so definitely making a statement here tonight.
He certainly is, and I'll tell you what, if he's making that statement this early tonight, expect him to be very strong, because it tells me he's happy with that car for sure. Marcus Knitska on your screen at the moment. You can see the pit crew going to work on that car, getting it ready for the qualifying, or the hot laps, or whatever we call it here in Speedway. 11th in the point score at the moment, so we'll see if Marcus can get back in the top 10 by the end of tonight. He's currently 8th fastest.
Yeah, very impressed with Marcus through this whole series. He's been there or thereabouts, just been unlucky at times, and just hasn't had the results that I'm sure he wanted this season.
Yeah, so, but looking at those points, like the gaps, it always astounds me how close the gaps are in Speedway. You know, you're talking about a couple of thousandths of a second separating some of these guys, but we can see them coming out at the moment, folks. We've got, just bring up this, we've got Kyle Stevens out there, and he's running under the name The Boss, and we'll see how he goes here in qualifying, and he should be starting his hot lap now. So we'll see how he goes. He's coming into turn 3 and 4 now. Quite a short course here at Eldora, and taking the low line there. I noticed Brett Wheeler using right up there on the apron, but he comes through now. Kyle Stevens, that is, second quickest, but Marcus Knitska straight to the top.
Very nice time by Marcus Knitska. Let's see how he can do in his next couple of laps. And as you're talking about being low, does look like the quick line at the moment is going to be that middle of the racetrack to the lower line. Expect to see that come up as we get further into racing.
Yeah, you can see now Nathan Clark's jumped up to second, pushing Cole Stevens down to third. Shane Davies, okay, so Zach Masters now, he jumps straight to the top with a 19.885. So it's getting, now they're tumbling Lewis Clark straight to the top, 19.841 into the fence, so that'll be the best he does. I noticed Lewis was shadowing Brett Wheeler, trying to get that high line, and he was watching what Brett was doing, and he was running pretty much the same line.
Yeah, it's one thing watching someone run the line that you want to do, but you need to make sure you have the car to do it. Looks like Lewis Clark does have the car to do it, and he's following Brett Wheeler at the moment. Just having a look, I don't think Brett's doing his trademark last-minute run.
Okay, and we've also got Jamie Owens out here in the 42. He's also taking the very high line. He comes through now. We'll see what he did. His time at 20.319, and that does not get him in the top 13, and he's into the wall. But let's have a look at Brett Wheeler, see what Brett can bring to the table here. You can see him now. He's getting ready to start his run. So hold on tight, folks. It could be fireworks here.
Yeah, we see him getting nice and close to that wall. It looks like this will be an outside run for Brett Wheeler. Let's see what he can do on his first time lap.
He just brushed, oh, he's into the wall, so he's going to have to go his second lap. What would be going through a driver's head there? Your first lap, you hit the wall. I guess he's going to have to try and reset, isn't he? But that must rattle your cage a little bit.
It does rattle your cage a little bit, but it's definitely better to do it on that first lap than that second lap. The most disheartening thing is if you hit that wall coming out of turn 4, it will ruin both laps.
Okay, here he goes. He's coming through now. What sort of a time can he do? And hit the wall there, straight to the top with a 19.491. James Rice now sitting second, 2/10 down. Ryan Gorton third, 3/10 down. Then we've got Lewis Clark fourth. Zach Masters, he's down to fifth. So the times are definitely tumbling, with Brett taking provisional pole here. We've got Chris Grove out. He's running 15th at the moment in the 222 as he goes through, and we'll see if he can improve. It doesn't look like he's going to.
No, but an absolutely sensational time there by Brett Wheeler. Almost 3/10 quicker than James Rice. So he's definitely gone back to the drawing boards after last week and that poor effort by his standards, and definitely coming out here tonight to make a statement, and he has done that in time trials.
He certainly has, and Ryan Gorton, fastest in practice, he's third quickest, so he's only 3/10 of a second down. Doesn't sound like much. In Speedway, it's a fair difference.
Yeah, when we're talking under tenths that separate sort of your top 10 at times, to see that kind of a gap, it's quite amazing. But we can see that even from third down to ninth, they are separated by that 10th. So the field definitely bunching back up down past that top 3.
Yeah, I was about to go through qualifying here, but it's all going to reset now, and we're starting to get ready for Heat 1. So let's get rid of the results and get ready to call this race. The drivers lining up in Heat 1, we'll have Brett Wheeler, Lewis Clark, Stephen Watts, Kyle Stevens, Darren McKenzie, Mitch Wiley and Jamie Owens.
It's going to be an exciting first heat here. Definitely looking forward to see what Brett can do, and also if Lewis or Stephen have an answer for him at the moment. So they would have seen that blistering time in time trials. They would have gone back to the pits, made some quick changes, make sure they can dial that car in a little bit better, and hopefully they can run with Brett here tonight.
Yeah, as they come out on the track, starting on the inside on the front row will be Brett Wheeler. He'll have Lewis Clark, the number 19, starting on the outside of him. As we move back to the second row, starting on the inside is the number 5. That is Stephen Watts, and starting on the outside of him, the 442, the boss, Kyle Stevens. And going back to the third row. Darren McKenzie in the number 75 down there, the black 75. On the outside of him is Mitchell Wiley. Then rounding out our field is the number 42, Jamie Owens.
I do like seeing the cars with 3 numbers on them, so it's a little bit of a change for dirt. You don't see that often in tar racing.
Yeah, and I'll probably show my age here. I miss the old numbers they used to have, you know, bolted to the top of their roofs, but that's probably probably not done these days. But let's get ready to rumble here, and Brett Wheeler's going to lead them away. Here we go, folks. Heat 1. Brett Wheeler's getting a nice start, but check out the number 19 going to the high line. That's the line he prefers. Now Brett comes up, cuts in front of him. Brett's taking the lead, but the 19 down low, and right behind him is Stephen Watts in the number 5.
Stephen Watts, Lewis Clark trying to make a run up there on Brett, but just slides up, loses all his momentum, and Brett gets the drive out of turn number 4 as we see Lewis Clark straight back to the top to make sure he doesn't lose any more time. Stephen Watts currently in third as there is a battle going on behind.
Oh, there's a massive battle going on behind here. You can see Stephen Watts, but I tell you what, we've got Wiley up the top there in the number 12 and the 75. They got together. Wiley brushed the fence, and the 75 is Darren McKenzie. The 42's trying to close in on these 2 at the moment. Battle pack of 3, but meanwhile up front, Brett Wheeler's running away with this. He's definitely showing his talent here tonight, and it's spreading out a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely pulling away from Lewis at the moment, but Stephen Watts definitely not letting Lewis get away. So let's see if he can make a move for second, or if laps are going to get the better of him. We are halfway through this heat race.
Yeah, and there's a great battle going on here with the number 12, Mitchell Wiley. He's going against Kyle Stevens here, and I tell you what, Mitchell's car's looking hooked up. He went high, and the 442 came in and boxed him in there, but then he came back underneath him and took that position back. So at the moment, that is the number 12 I'm talking about, Mitchell Wiley.
You can see him get a good run out of turn 2, just puts a car length on Kyle Stevens at the moment in that 442 car. Still working that low line as they get really close on the front straight. They manage to get away with it. Kyle now moves up to the high line, trying to chase down Mitchell.
Here comes Darren McKenzie. We see him in the Ants car. Exciting driver. He's out here in the dirt tonight, mixing it up, going for that low line on the boss. He almost got it, but here we go. Let's jump to the front because it's a final lap. It's been Brett Wheeler all the way, running that trademark high line here, Sean.
Yeah, I would say I was surprised, but obviously we knew from time trials that car was very quick. So a very dominating win by Brett the Jet Wheeler there. Well done to him. Lewis Clark in second, Stephen Watts in third, Mitchell Weil holds on to fourth, Kyle Stevens in fifth, Jamie Owens sixth, and Darren McKenzie's will finish in seventh position.
And he finished on his roof.
Always the way you want to finish.
Yes, I guess. And
you know you've had a good race.
If you finish on your roof, well, you know you've been pushing it if you finish on your roof, unless you're Colin Bond. He went on his roof, and I remember him talking very quickly when he went on his roof at Bathurst, and he said he kept on hitting the brake pedal and he was wondering why the darn thing wasn't slowing down. But let's have a look at the Heat 2 here, folks. The drivers lining up. Another good lineup here. We've got James Rice, Zach Masters, Lachlan Smith, Shane Davies, Gavin Sadler, George Fullerton, and Troy Smith. So another good field, and you can go through the grid this time if you would like to.
Yeah, certainly. Off your pole tonight for heat number 2 will be James Rice. In second position will be Zach Masters. Third position will be Lachlan Smith. Fourth, Shane Davies. Gavin Sadler will be starting out of fifth. Behind him, George Fullerton in sixth and Troy Smith in seventh. Bernie, this is a bit of a GSR stacked heat here with 3 drivers from the GSR stable.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who's going to take this out. Who's your bet? I'm thinking Zach Masters might have this one.
Yeah, you read my mind, Bernie. You're going to have to go Zach, especially on the outside. We know he's going to go straight to that cushion and possibly just drive away with this one.
Yeah, Bailey Hall's given us a shout out. He's listening in from work, so enjoy work, Bailey. We're at the Speedway, man, and we're enjoying it. Here we go. You can call it.
Every minute on it. As we go green, Zach Masters gets that jump that we called at the start straight to that high line. As we see James Rice just trying to work the middle of the racetrack. Number 14 up on the high line. Also Shane Davies trying to get a run around the outside of James. He gets the job done through turn 3 and 4. He is into second place. As we see Lachlan Smith ganging up on James Rice also. Down to the inside, Lachlan tries to slide up, keeps it in the middle of the racetrack. James looks like he's got that grip up the top now. He will hold 3rd position.
Yeah, Lachlan Smith there saw the high lines working better. He's jumped up there to take his place there, but at the moment, Zach Masters is leading Shane Davies. Shane into the wall. There goes the number 15. He's straightened it out. He's now coming under pressure from the 20 into the wall again. He's having a hell of a night up there, and then 911. He's coming through to try to take the unlucky 14 here. Oh, they got together. It's all coming off at the moment.
Bumper cars at the moment. Everybody fighting for every inch of racetrack. A bit unfortunate there for Shane Dame. Grabbed that right rear quarter in the fence and it lost him 2 spots.
Yeah, so we're down to halfway here, folks, and Zach Masters, he is dominating this race like Brett did previously. James Rice in the 20, he's starting to close in on him now. Well, he's trying to. Then the 911. And every time I see that, I wonder if there's an emergency. But he's now trying that low line, the 14, trying to round him up on the outside. George Fullerton in the 500, not making much inroad. But he's got Gavin Sadler for company and Troy Smith in the 13, trying that low line.
Shane Davies again getting a little bit wrong, coming out of turn number 2 and getting into that wall. Didn't lose a lot of momentum this time. Lachlan Smith trying to run that bottom line. It doesn't look like the high line of Shane Davies is picking up too much speed on Lachlan there, so that low line starting to come in. That's going to be a great racing later in the feature.
Yeah, there goes the 14 through the high line there now. So he's managed to move that up to 3rd position. But final lap here, it's going to be Zach Masters. But I tell you what, James Rice, he has hunted him down on this last lap. He's closed that gap. He's just going to run out of laps. So the Heat 2 is definitely going to Zach Masters here.
Yeah, James Rice with a quick car there, keeping up and actually pulling Zach Masters back in. So that would have been interesting if we had a few more laps here. So great run from James Rice after getting a little bit belted around at the start of that heat.
Yeah, take our breath here. So we're going into Heat 3 now, folks. It's always fast rolling here on the Speedway. And keep an eye on the 888 Ryan Gordon. He's going to be lining up with Marcus Knitska. Then we've got Nathan Clark in this heat, John Schultz, Chris Grove, Jason Brown and Rick Burt. And as they roll out on the track, as we always do, we'll take you through that grid. And you can see where your favourite driver is going to start tonight.
Benny, I'll just run through that last heat. 3rd position was Shane Davies. 4th, Lachlan Smith. 5th, George Fullerton. Gavin Sadler in 6th and Troy Smith in 7th. So you can follow your driver at home. And as like last week, if you do enjoy our broadcast, don't forget to hit that like button down the bottom. Yeah,
definitely. It definitely helps our small channel. And if you like what you see and you haven't subscribed, of course, subscribe, hit the little bell thing, and that will tell you when we go live. And let's go through this heat, and let's see where your favourite driver will be starting. So on the front row, Ryan Gordon in the 888. He's going to start on the inside of Marcus Knitska in the 55. Going back to the second row, we have the number 25. That's Nathan Clark on the inside, and he's going to have the 78 on the outside of him. That's John Schultz. Going back to the third row, we have Chris Grove in the 222, and on the outside of him will be Jason Brown in the number 50, and then Rick Burt in the 022. He will round out our field of 7.
Stack the field here, Bernie. The front 2 rows, Ryan, Marcus, Nathan and John. Let's watch out for some fireworks.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how they go here. And I'm not going to call who's going to take this one. It's hopefully it's going to be a really close, fast race. But here they go, waiting for the green flag, and they're off. Marcus Knitska got a great start on the 55 on the outside. The 555 takes the low line and takes control of this race. But here comes a 25, almost 3 wide back there between the 55 and the 25, and John Schultz in the 78 all over the back of Marcus Knitska.
3 wide coming onto the main straight. These boys are serious tonight. Marcus Knitska goes to the top line as John cuts back down, tries to get the run on the inside, but he has to watch out for Nathan Clark on the inside.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good that Eldora's nice and wide here, but here comes a 222 trying to make his way on the 78, trying to thread that needle right up on the 25 there, and that is Chris Grove on the march. Yeah,
Chris Grove's showing some nice pace at the moment. He's looking at the back of John and Nathan Clark here at the moment, so hopefully he has been a regular in this series, so it's just great to see the improvement from Chris and seeing him running with these guys now.
We just saw there Knitska into the wall. He gathered it up, but he's losing pace here. Ryan Gordon, 3rd fastest in qualifying. He is throwing down the gauntlet in this one, just like Zach Masters and Brett Wheeler did in previous heats. He's shown him he's going to be a contender tonight. Marcus Knitska, 55 in 2nd. 3rd, though, Nathan Clark, John Schultz. They continue to battle it out here, and yeah, it's getting close for the last step on the podium for Heat 3.
Definitely your closest battle on track at the moment. John Schultz not able to drop Nathan Clark there. He is right up on the bumper of John. We will only have 2 laps to go, so not sure if there's going to be much down low for Nathan to be able to get around John. Just looks like he is sitting up on that high line, just waiting to see if he'll make a last lap move.
Yeah, at the moment he's shadowing him. I don't think he has much for the 78, but I could be wrong here. And as you said, down low may not work. As we can see, the 78, the silent assassin. I love this, all these nicknames these guys are running with. So
see Nathan get racy now. He tried to look down the inside, but he knows there's probably not going to be much there, so he's going to concede that position. He's going to hold 4th. John Schultz 3rd. Great win by Ryan Gordon, making a statement there. Marcus Knitska in 2nd position. 5th place was Chris Grove. 6th, Jason Brown and Rick Burt.
Yeah, so it looks like, what are we up to now? Heat 4, is that right?
We will go into consolidation B main now, Bernie. We'll just confirm the amount of transfers as we just set your grids up here. 6 cars will be starting our B main. We will have 12 laps, and unfortunately only 1 will miss out.
Only 1. Okay, well, you don't want to be that one, do you? It's like going to a party and finding you've got no one to dance with. But let's have a look at how these guys are going to start tonight. On the front row, we will have the number 42. That is Jamie Owens, the Intimidator, and on the outside of him is Gavin Sadler in the number 71. Going to the second row in the number 50 is Jason Brown, and on the outside of him is Darren McKenzie. As we move further back, we have Rick Burt. He's going to start out of 5th, and he's got the lucky 13 of Troy Smith starting on the inside of him.
Very surprising to see Gavin Sadler in this B main. We've talked about his consistency all season long, so to see him in a B main, that is a big shock here tonight. He does have the outside, so should be a good start as we see the 42 just bank the field up. We will be green in a moment. We are green. Gavin gets a little bit bogged down on the start. The 42 gets the run into the corner. Jamie Owens, as we see Gavin Sadler around the outside, gets into the wall on 2. See how difficult that high line is to run. As we see Jamie Owens in second, under pressure now by Darren McKenzie, who takes that second position. On his way now to chase down Gavin Sadler.
As they almost go 3 wide back here, the 15, the 75 there, that is McKenzie. And then we've got the 42 of Jamie Owens in third, Troy Smith, though chasing him down in that 13. Troy's come from the back of the grid already up to 4th. I'd say there's a bit of contact because Jason Brown in the 50, he is a long way behind.
Yeah, he has lost this battle pack at the moment. Jason Brown's currently sitting in 6th position. So outside that transfer at the moment, he'll be looking to turn some quick laps. He does have a fair few laps still left. We are only on lap 4 of 12. So let's see if he can roll in 5th position of Rick Burt and make that transfer.
Tell you what, one person that nearly rolled in position was the Intimidator, the number 42. He climbed the wall and he was very close of roofing that car, but he's managed to gather it up. He did lose a position though to Troy Smith in the 13. He moves up to 3rd. I'll tell you what, his pit crew has done a good job on getting that car tuned in for this B main decider.
Yeah, it's always important. You can't just set the car up at the start of the night and expect it to be quick by the end of the night. The dirt surface does change, and as you can see, as we enter those corners, you can see those black lines getting there. The more black that it gets, the slicker or the slipperier it gets. So you've always got to be able to tighten that car. As we see the 13 get into the wall but manages to keep it going. Good save there. Again, Bernie, we're seeing this high line becoming the fast line, but also very treacherous.
Yeah, and we saw the 42 following like there into the wall as he followed him. It looks like that high line sucking him in as we see the 13 up there again. Tell you what, they're lucky these cars are built like tanks or else they'd be in a bit of trouble. Rick Burt at the moment, he is sitting in the bubble here in the last position to go through, but Jason Brown in the 50, he is coming fast and he wants to go through here.
You definitely don't want to be that one that misses, so you're tight battle at the moment. Rick Burt and Jason Brown, this is for your transfer position. If you don't get this spot, you will be putting the car on the trailer and we will see you later in the night.
Yeah, and DNA Motorsport at the moment looks like they may be going back to the trailer, although he's not going to give up without a fight as the 50's now working that low line on the 222. They go side by side. It's not going to be an easy ask here, but almost into each other. Good racing here for the last two, and still too close to call.
We have 2 laps to go as we see Rick Burt change it down to the inside, gets the run. Oh, they touch going into turn 1. Jason Brown goes into the wall. That's going to lose all his momentum. Rick Burt will hold on by the looks of it here.
Meanwhile, final lap here, folks. Gavin Sadler, he has dominated this B main, and he's hungry to go through. And the number 71 coming through the final corner now. He will take the win here in the FKK entry. Then we'll have Darren McKenzie in the 75 right behind him. Troy Smith, he'll come home in third in the 13. Jamie Owens fourth. Jason Brown just got Rick Burt on the line there, and he goes through. Rick Burt looks like he's going to miss out.
Jason Brown, never give up attitude. He manages to sneak into tonight's A main, passing Rick Burt on the line out of turn number 4. Great racing there by the two of those guys.
Yeah, so we say goodnight to the 222. They'll put that car back into the truck and sit back and enjoy the finals here. But after this, folks, don't go away, because we have the Dirt Midgets coming up, and then, of course, the big bangers, the Sprint Car 410s. They'll come out later on this evening.
We will be under lights later here tonight, so always a great spectacle seeing the 410s under lights, and especially here at Eldora, such an amazing racetrack in a 410 sprint car.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, but at the moment I'm looking forward to see who's going to take this race. And it looks like Brett Wheeler, he's going to be starting on the inside of Zach Masters on the front row. Second row, Ryan Gorton and Lewis Clark. So Ryan on the inside, Lewis on the outside. Third row, we'll have Jason Rice in the number 20 and Marcus Kanitska in the 55. As we go back to the fourth row, they're going to start muddling up here in a minute. The number 5, Steve Watts and Shane Davies in the 14. As we go back to the fifth row, we'll have Mitchell Wiley in the number 12 and John Schultz starting on the outside of him. Sixth row tonight is Nathan Clark and Lachlan Smith. Going back to the seventh row, we have the 500. That is George Fullerton, and you might want to carry on here because my telemetry's starting to play up.
Yeah, certainly. Carl Stephen in 13th. George Fullerton will be out of 14th. Chris Grove will be starting out of 15th. Gavin Sadler, very unfamiliar seeing him that far back, in position 16. 17, Darren McKenzie's. Troy Smith in 18th. Jamie Owens in 19th. And rounding out your 20-car field, Jason Brown sneaking it in there here tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see what he can do in this one. It's going to be interesting to see what the 13 brings to the party as well. But at the moment, they're getting ready. Look at the gamesmanship between Zach Masters and Brett Wheeler, waiting for starters' orders. Here we go, folks. Zach Masters, he takes the lead. Brett Wheeler gets him, rubs him, and lets him go through. But remember, safety cars or pace cars will be a factor here tonight as they're bumping and grinding through lap 1 here.
4 wide, now 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. Ryan Gorton, Zach Masters and Brett Wheeler really getting it. Oh, Zach Marcus gets into the wall there. Just Brett taking out the nose, but Brett into the wall also now, which gets a run on Zach. Zach has nowhere to go, gets into the back. Ryan Gorton is loving this as he takes the lead, slides up into Brett. Brett comes down on the inside, gets into the side of Zach, but keeps going. Brett Wheeler going to slide up onto Ryan Gorton. Ryan Gorton reads it, goes back down underneath. They bump wheels. Zach Masters back there getting shuffled back as well as we go yellow and we can take a breath.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think a few people need to take a breath after that. It reminded me of what it's like to go shopping on a Saturday morning trying to get that car parked, but it looks like Troy Smith brought that yellow out. Let's go back and see if we can work out exactly what happened here. So we go back to the replay, we can see the number 50 there. Let's go back to Troy Smith. Yeah, he got turned by Darren McKenzie in the 75. Tell you what, they're serious tonight, aren't they?
They are definitely racing for sheep stations, that is a fact. We have seen 4-wide racing and some really good 3-wide racing. These guys definitely not scared to bump panels.
Yeah, that's for sure. It wouldn't be Speedway if they were.
It's good to see the 3 and 4 wide racing. This track definitely wide enough to do it, and I love the tracks that are wide enough to see that kind of racing. So good for the fans to watch.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? And at the moment, though, we're having a great battle here between Gorton and Wheeler. If we look at the point score very quickly, folks, before we go green here, and you can see, get rid of the timing screen so I can actually see what I'm talking about. Brett Wheeler, Zach Masters, he's trying to close in on them, and at the moment the spoiler is Ryan Gorton down there in 8th, sitting in 2nd.
We see the front row bumping again. Brett Wheeler saying, get out of my way, as he gets a great start. Ryan Gorton follows him though. He's going to look to move on the inside. No, he keeps the run on the outside as we see Lewis Clark and Marcus Knitska get into each other. That allows Zach Masters the run on Lewis Clark now.
Yeah, you can see at the moment that Mitchell Wiley, he's having a great battle there with the 78 as they swap positions. But look at Zach Masters in the 19. That's Lewis Clark. They continue battling. 75, that's 78, that's John Schultz. John into the 12. The 12 gathers it up, and that's Mitchell Wiley. And I tell you what, he's coming down now. Yellow's going to come out. The 12, the 19, the 442 and the 14's involved in that. So quite a lot there. The 42 also. So unpacking that for you, we've got Jamie Owens around. The 12, that was Mitchell Wiley. 19, Lewis Clark. I think the 71, Gavin Sadler, threaded the needle. He wasn't involved. But we've got some messed up cars back here. Yeah, Gavin's calling it a night. The 19's going in as well. So that's both retirements. Look at that 19. It's trashed.
That was a big accident, and it all just started because I believe it was Lewis Clark got the run on the inside, but unfortunately Mitchell Wild was down there and they just tangled, and then that Constantina behind, nowhere for anybody else to go. So it's unfortunate to see so many cars out in the one yellow period.
Yeah, and the that damage was pretty much caused by the double tap on the 19. Gavin Sadler, I originally thought he threaded the needle. He did not. He's got a lot of damage as well.
Did see a big hit on the front end by him, so I'm guessing radiator damage there. You definitely don't want to continue with radiator damage and hurt that motor. We want to see him back again next week.
Yeah, definitely. So the first 2 retirements out of that, the 19, Lewis Clark, Gavin Sadler, and the 71, we say goodnight to them. But up front, it's getting mighty interesting. We have Brett Wheeler starting on the inside of Ryan Gorton, the outside. Zach Masters in the 95, he's going to start on the outside of Marcus Knitska. Looking back to the 3rd row, folks, and that is John Schultz in the 78 and Nathan Clark in the number 25.
Brett Wheeler gets the jump on the inside, but Ryan Gorton tries to go with him this time. There's still just too much drive. Ryan changes to the inside, trying to slide up, but Brett Wheeler is around the outside. Ryan Gorton pulls up. This allows Marcus Knitska the run on the outside of Ryan Gorton. Zach Masters still there as well as John Schultz. Very tight for this 2nd place.
I tell you what, Marcus's car's coming to the track, isn't it? He's got a lot of pace at the moment. 8th fastest in practice, as he's just getting a bit of a hurry along from Zach Masters and John Schultz. John dives to the inside. He's decided he's had enough of this bumper action on the high line. He wants to make inroads. But tell you what, right behind them though is the 25 of Nathan Clark, and Lachlan Smith's also in the mix here. Halfway through, folks, looks like we are under yellow.
We are under yellow, and it looks like I'm just watching a 3-wide. Mitchell Wild goes in, and yes, that's also the number 50 involved there as well. See if we can get a replay for you viewers at home. Yeah, I just brought it up there, and he got turned big time, didn't he? He got whacked by the 42. The 500, that's George Fullerton was involved, but the 50, he just went straight to the pits, end of the road for the Mountain Dew. It's amazing to see the racing back here for 16 still so tight and close. Just a testament to all the drivers out here tonight. Nobody wanting to give an inch and everybody racing for every single position.
Yeah, they certainly are racing hard, aren't they? Which is great. That's what we want to see when we go to Speedway.
Rubbing is racing, as they say, and we are seeing a lot of rubbing tonight. Zach Masters getting very racy. John Schultz, as we know as well, he's getting very racy as well. Everybody's starting to think about this championship point, so every position you can make up on the track is going to move you up that championship ladder that little bit further.
See them now waiting for the pace car to give them the go-ahead. We have 12 laps remaining here, and you can't throw a blanket over the top 4 or 5 here. And of course, the further back you get, the crazier it gets. And tell you what, any of these drivers would love to win this, but it's going to come down to probably 6, maybe the top 4 rows.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that anyone in the top 4 rows can win from here on out. As we go green on the speedway once again, Brett Wheeler with that great start on the inside. We see him cut down low and up to the high line. Ryan Gorton decides not to go low this time. He's going to run around the high lines. We see John Schultz up into the fence. Zach Masters in the action again as the number 25 goes around, and we are under yellow.
Yeah, that was Nathan Clark there, and George Fullerton, he's given him a second serve under yellow there, and we'll have a look at that and see if there was any history between these two. But keep an eye on the purple 25 here, folks. He gets a bit of a helping hand in a moment, and what's happened here is he's got a helping hand from the 5. Puts him up into the wall, the 13, and then that's where George Fullerton, hit him a few times there. George was just sending him a message, I think.
Yeah, everyone just ploughing in this a little bit too quick and not trying to avoid that. So a few cars probably didn't need to be involved in that, but when the red mist is down, it's very hard to look ahead and see what's happening.
Yeah, so looking at the cars that have retired here, folks, it's becoming a bit of a list here. Let's have a look. Looks like the number 5, that is Stephen Watts, has brought that car into the pits. Shane Davies, he's also finished in the 14, lost the 25. Nathan Clark, we just saw him in that. The 222 is still out there. Jamie Owens in the 42's retired. Jason Brown in the 50 has also gone. The 19 of Lewis Clark and the 71 of Gavin Sadler. So 8 laps remaining, and the toll is climbing.
Yeah, definitely a big retirement list, but all the action is on track at the moment. Let's see if Brett Wheeler can get that trademark jump from the front row as we go green on the racetrack once again. Brett does get that start. This time, Marcus Kaniska looks up the inside. Taps the back of Ryan Gorton. Ryan Gorton very sideways into turn 1. He manages to hold it, actually takes the low line, and will still manage to hold on to that second position as he stays low. Zach Masters go up into the wall. Ryan Gorton just missed that slide job. He's in the wall. Zach Masters on the inside will take the second position.
Yeah, I'm just struggling with the overlays here a bit, folks, but you can see 3 wide. Got Ryan Gorton now shuffled back, hasn't he? He's back there in 4th. We've got Knitska down on the low line, Masters on the high line. Looking further back, though, the field is starting to spread out a little bit.
The 3 battling back here, Masters, Gorton and Knitska, is allowing Brett Wheeler to run away at the moment. He has half a length lead over the next 3 cars.
Yeah, so bear with me here, folks. I'm just trying to get this theme working again, and we'll get back into the action here.
Ryan Gorton stalking Zach Masters now. He's going to look for the run on the inside into turn number 3. Going to see him slide up. Zach's going to know he's coming. Zach slides underneath and back into second position. We are currently on lap 27 of 30. We have 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Brett Wheeler, well, he's bolted, hasn't he? Here we go, yellow flag. It's going to come down to a 1-1 here tonight by the looks of it. Just trying to work out who was involved in that incident.
The 911 Bernie, I think, I caught a bit of a glimpse of him inside that, so we might start there.
Okay, let's bring the camera up and we'll jump back and have a look at this. So here we go, 911 on the inside. Yeah, he did get turned big time. And who was that? The number 20 turned him. Darren McKenzie also got involved in that, but managed to avoid most of the carnage. That was James Rice having a crack at the 911.
Good to see both those cars going against, 911 of Lachlan Smith just slid up into James Rice there. James unfortunately had nowhere to go, had to hit the back of Lachlan Smith and put him up into the wall. So no retirements from that yellow as the two cars are still running.
Yeah, you can see these drivers are getting pretty excited there. We saw under yellow the 222 got turned, believe it or not. He's now he's sitting up there in the back, but yeah, you can see that they want to just race, and even up the back they're racing hard. You can see there the 95 Zach Masters just practicing drifting as we're coming down to the final lap. I think we're going to finish under yellow.
Yeah, these guys know that they are now finishing under yellow. That's probably why they're having a little bit of fun here. So, unfortunately, no more green flag racing here for your down under street stocks tonight. But they definitely put on a good show for us here tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did. And what's going to happen after this, folks, is Brett Wheeler's going to extend his lead over Zach Masters. But Ryan Gorton, he's going to jump up the point score now because he's got a good haul of points, finishing second position here.
So as we see them now just run off and do some celebration after that race.
Yeah, and the 500 immediately got into the 222, put him up in the wall, as they do, as is tradition here in Aussie iRacing Speedway. But let's go through the full results here, folks, so you can see where your favourite drivers finished. Brett Wheeler, he takes a win. He led all 28 laps here. Well, 28 out of 30. The only other two to lead a lap was Ryan Gorton in the 888 and Zach Masters in the 95. But Ryan comes home second, Zach Masters third. Fourth position, Marcus Kanitzka, he improved as the night went on and he had a great night of racing. 78, John Schultz in fifth. Darren McKenzie, he also worked his way through the field and came home in sixth position. James Rice, he finishes in seventh. Troy Smith, the biggest mover, up 10 positions to come home in eighth. George Fullerton up 5 to finish in ninth position. Kyle Stevens in the 442 comes home 10th. 11th was the 911 of Lachlan Smith. 12th, Mitchell Wiley. And as we go back further, we have Chris Grove in the 222 in 13th. 14th, equal third, no. My overlays have gone weird. Okay.
14th is Stephen Watts. 15th will be Nathan Clark. Shane Davies will be classified as 16th. 17th will be Jamie Owens. 18th will be Jason Brown. Gavin Sadler, 19th. And 20th will be Lewis Clark, the first retirement in that first yellow of the evening.
Yes, a fantastic racing there, but we've got a few guys waiting to come up and have a chat. We'll bring up first Zach Masters, Lightning. I want to call him Lightning McMasters. I think that's from Cars, isn't it?
Lightning McMasters sounds good. We definitely have to coin that nickname for him.
Yeah, and can see Brett Wheeler there also. He's decided he's got the car there on the... what do you call that? You know, where you go
winner's
to the
podium.
Winner's podium.
Winner's circle, yep.
Yeah, hopefully he'll keep it that there because that's a good screenshot moment for him. Let's bring up Lightning McMasters. I'm gonna make that name stick, you know that, don't you, Sean?
Yeah, I think we definitely will. Zach, we're just talking about your nickname. Bernie has coined it now as Lightning McMasters. How does that stick with you?
Yeah, I like that. I'll rock that.
Good to see. Great race tonight. We did see you get a little bit bashed around and fell back there. How worried were you knowing that Brett was out in front and obviously that championship getting really tight?
I was just worried about dying. I went close too many times to my liking. But
yeah, it was really cutthroat out there tonight. We noticed that on the broadcast. Lots of paddle rubbing. Was it as rough in the car as we saw it from the outside?
Yeah, I got VR this week, so it was a whole new immersive experience. They say rubbing's racing in street stocks, and when you got one line, it's a bit hard not to.
Yeah, we didn't see very much on that low line. Even the people that tried to get down low couldn't quite clear the guys on the high line, so that saw them come into the doors a lot and saw some action. Still, again, a great position for you, third position in that race. Obviously looking towards the championship still and trying to hold on to Brett.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully you get some better results in coming weeks, but I'll take them as they come, and a third place is good enough for me.
With such a dominant performance by Brett there, is there anything that you think you can change for next week to try and close that gap a little bit and hopefully get the win?
Yeah, not being an Eldora is not a strong suit of mine. I was happy to actually finish this time and not die like last time, so that was a solid change.
Well, yeah, definitely a great result if this isn't your favourite track. Is there any sponsors you would like to thank tonight?
You guys, RRTV for the broadcast, Australian Speedway League for putting on the show once again, and my team, Race on Oz. Cheers, guys.
Thank you for your time, Lightning McMasters.
It's definitely going to stick. Even if we've got to get a bit of blue tack out and paste that onto his car, we are going to do that. The next person to interview is Brett Wheeler. What's his nickname? Have you got a nickname for him?
I think he's just the Jet, isn't it? I think it just goes well with any Brett. Brett the Jet.
Brett the Jet. Okay. I'll bring him in. You can have a chat.
Brett, great win tonight. We were just talking about nicknames there with Zach Masters. Obviously, you get called obviously because of Brett the Jet a lot. Definitely a nickname that you are coining for yourself with your fourth win here in this series.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back in victory lane. Twice we've been to Eldora now, and twice I've been able to pick up a win. So, yeah, it was just good to be back in victory lane, that's for sure.
Such a dominating performance in time trials. I mean, it was 2/10 quicker. We saw last week that you struggled a lot. Was there anything that you went away and changed for this week, or was there a different mindset tonight than last week?
Yeah, we changed tracks. It was Eldora. It's probably one of my favourite tracks on the sim. I mean, you give me a cushion in a street stock, and 10 out of 10 times, you'll see me up there, riding that cushion. It's one of the most funnest things to do on iRacing is put a street stock on a cushion.
Yeah, it's always fun for the fans when there is a cushion there and everyone can ride it. Not everybody can do it as well as you, but you definitely showed the way tonight with a clean sweep, the time trials, your heat, and also taking out the feature. Any sponsors you would like to thank tonight?
Yeah, first of all, you guys at RRTV, you guys do a great job week in and week out. Gavin Sadler, all the admin team at the Australian Speedway League, Joel Berkeley for the sponsorship of the series, Team UW Motorsports, and our sponsors, Ultimate Dirt TV, Colby's Eye Paints, Next Gen Fab, and yeah, just thanks everyone for watching.
Brett, thank you for your time tonight, and we will see you in the midgets, I believe.
No, that'll be it for me. I can't run midgets, and I don't think I run sprint cars, but I'll see you guys next week, and enjoy the broadcast.
Thanks for that, Brett. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
I'll tell you what, Sean, Brett laid down the gauntlet earlier on tonight, didn't he? And he delivered the goods for him and his team. So congratulations to Brett Wheeler. But folks, the Dirt Midgets, they are coming out on the track very shortly. Go and grab your favourite beverage as we reload the service. And when we come back, we'll have the Dirt Midgets. Hi there folks, welcome back to RRTV's live coverage of the Australian Speedway Championships, or the Australian Speedway Leagues Championships I should say, and as you can see the midgets are out there and we're going to be racing very shortly, but your commentary team tonight is Sean O'Hara and myself, Bernie Weemus. Hope you've got your favourite beverage because the tempo's about to step up a bit here, Sean.
Yeah, I tell you what, if the street stocks are anything to gauge off what tonight is about to bring, we are in for another great show here in the Race Merch Midgets.
Yeah, and we've got 15 cars, lining up for the Race Merch Midgets. And let's have a look at how they're going in practice at the moment. And it looks like Ryan E.B. Harris, he's set the fastest time so far, but Bob King, he's just behind him. Bob comes into this leading the point score, and we'll take you through that very shortly. Lachlan Smith, third fastest. Zachary Phelan, fourth fastest, and Terry Marwood rounds out our top five so far in practice.
Great to see Terry up there having a good run in the midgets here tonight at Eldora.
Yeah, so let's go through the Race Merch Midgets point score here. So Bob King continues to lead, 930 points. He's 28 points ahead of James Robbie in second. Third, Harry Edwards on 894 points. Gavin Sadler, fourth quickest on 892. And Gavin absolutely loves his speedway. And he's also the man behind this great series. Brett Junior Morris sitting in fifth on 832 points. Joel Berkeley, sixth on 782 points. Terry Marwood is sitting in seventh at the moment with Ryan E.B. Harris in eighth. I tell you what, he must have seen Ryan Gorton, because Ryan was eighth in the points and he threw down the gauntlet and had a very good run. Let's see if Ryan Harris does the same tonight. Lewis Hewitt sitting in ninth, and Scott Butler rounds out the top 10 in the point score.
Yeah, Ryan Harris setting the quick time at the moment, 16.354. Bob King, the next closest at 16.416. Bob King definitely having a dominating performance in the Race Midgets here this season, as well as the sprint cars. Just a versatile driver.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'm just getting our screens all organised here, folks, and getting ready for the action here. It should be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Let's go through your format for tonight for your Race Merch Midgets series. For practice at the moment, we will have 15 minutes, currently have 2 minutes left of that. We will then go into our time trial. Each driver will get 3 laps to set their quick time. That then sets our heat grid, which we will have 3 heats, each consisting of 8 laps. And just like the street stocks, no yellows during those heats. The top 5 from each of those heats will transfer directly through to our feature race. The 5th place and backwards cars will go to our B main, which will be 12 laps tonight. That will then lead us into our feature, which will be 30 laps.
Yeah, fantastic, and we can see a few midgets there up on their roofs and sorting it out, but at the moment on your screen you can see the number 57. That's Anthony Bland, 11th fastest in practice in a beautifully turned out Fireball livery.
So much effort goes into these skins to present well-looking cars for you, the race fans, each and every week. I think we probably have to start a concourse competition, Bernie, and let the viewers decide on the best car for the night.
Yeah, I think we should, and no doubt that should be done earlier on in the night, because of course these cars come off the trucks in pristine condition. They don't necessarily, 9 times out of the 10, they're not going to go back in the trucks in that same condition.
No, that's definitely a good chance, especially here at Eldora with such high speeds and these midgets being such pocket rockets. Expect to see the cars, when they do crash, they will take off.
Yeah, they certainly will, and we can see there Bob King, he's trying to get that high line into the wall. He goes on the outside, onto the inside. He'll take that car back, and the iRacing Elves will magically give him a brand new car to go back out and continue his practice here. We have 49 seconds to go, and then we're going to be getting into our time trials.
Very excited to see how time trials goes here tonight, Bernie.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Ryan Harris, fastest in practice, can carry that speed into the time trials. But I tell you what, there will be one man that wants to spoil that, and that's Bob King on your screen now, folks. In the 51, he's very, very dominant in the midgets, isn't he?
Yeah, in the midgets, and pretty much any time you put him on dirt, he will be running at the pointy end of most races. So, as I was saying just a little bit before, very versatile and can drive almost anything on dirt.
Yeah, we can see Zachary Phelan out there in the number 49 WP Concreting sponsored midget there. He's fourth fastest at the moment, and look at the way that car's handling. He's looking good tonight.
Yeah, also, if you can get a close-up of that helmet, he has changed his helmet design, went out and got a custom-painted helmet in real life, so he is now mirroring that helmet in iRacing.
It's great to see him mirroring. But here we go, folks. 4 minutes 45. We can see Bob King in the 51. He's out there, one of the first. He's pretty keen to get out there and set a fast lap. I think it's a bit catch me if you can at the moment.
You definitely want to set that quick time down early while the track is still fresh. You don't want it to blow off and go slower. So everybody out there now trying to set the quick times. Just watching Matt Reid complete his first lap here. Let's see where that gets him. Ryan Gorton to the top. Matt Reid to second, a 16.689. Great drive there. Bob King in third was 16.692.
Yeah, we're waiting to see what Ryan Harris brings to the party here. He's coming through now to complete that lap, and Ryan Harris, fifth fastest at the moment. His time, 2/10. He's automatically now, well, not automatically, he's gone down to seventh. Gavin Sadler, eighth. Now Ryan Harris finds himself in 10th. That's how quick they're running, but Brett Junior Morris is up in the preliminary poll here.
Matt Matuchin slots into second place, a 16.531, pushing Bob King down to third. Zachary Phelan jumps back up to fourth position in his last lap with a 16.588. Matt Matuchin will be your quick time at the moment with a 15.512. So close at the top, Bernie. 15.519 for Brett Junior Morris.
Yeah, Scott Butler now finds himself up there in third position. Bob King down to fourth. Cameron Dance jumps up to sixth position. So that's good to see Cameron up there. Ryan Gorton in seventh.
Great to see Scott Butler up there after not being able to race last week. I know he was really disappointed about not getting out onto the track. So great to see him coming out here tonight and puts it in third position at the moment.
Yeah, so the final results of qualifying here, folks. We've got Daniel Gow. I think he's still continuing. Brendan Hamilton's coming out in the 93 now. But we might go through those results anyway. What do you think, Sean?
I think it's just about quiet time before we go into the heats here, so let's run through your grid at the moment. Matt Matuchin will be your quick time at 16.513, narrowly getting Brett Junior Morris with a 16.519. Scott Butler will be in third. Fourth will be Bob King. Fifth will be Zachary Phelan. Cameron Dance will be sixth. Seventh, Ryan Gorton. Eighth, Matt Reid. Lachlan Smith, 9th. Rounding out your top 10 will be Gavin Sadler. James Robbie in 11th. Ryan Harris in 12th. 13th position, Daniel Gow. Bit unfortunate to see him down there. Hopefully you can drive through those heats. 14th will be Peter Honeybell. Terry Marwood in 15th. 16th position, Stephen Williams. Anthony Bland, Darren McKenzie, and Brendan Hamilton rounding out your 20-car grid.
Yeah, fantastic. 19 qualifiers out there, so it's going to be exciting. We've got a minute and a half, folks, till we go into Heat 1. So this is your chance. Last bells for drinks. Well, for drinks for now anyway. And we're going to be going racing very shortly. Wonder what the Love Tunnel's all about.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if I can see anyone in there either. I was trying to have a quick look down there, but no one in there at the moment.
Wonder if it goes underneath the track to the infield. If anyone...
Yeah, obviously not the best way to cross the racetrack on the top of it, so definitely paths underneath it to get to that infield.
Yeah, I'd say so. Oh, dearie me. So 3 seconds to go, folks, and we're going to be going racing very shortly. That minute and a half went quick. I have a feeling Gavin might have sped it up a little bit.
Bit of a push from the officials there to get the night underway. Obviously, we don't want to see an empty track for very long, so great decision there to push time trials forward, and we will now see our heat cars for heat number 1 out on the dummy grid.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a few more to come out, and then we'll take you through that grid, folks, and you can see where your favourite driver is going to start. And also, it'll be interesting if you can tell us who you think is going to win Heat 1 here. How many of these guys go through to the A main, Sean?
5 cars will go through, but it looks like being 19-car grid, everybody will get a start in the A main tonight. So it's all about racing for that better position to start the A main here tonight.
Okay. So let's go through. We're waiting for Zachary Phelan in the 49 to make the grid. Hopefully he will. And if not, it's going to be a little bit of an upset because he's starting... here he goes. He's just joined the grid now. So waiting for the cars to start rolling out here for Heat 1 of the Race Merch midgets. And then we'll take you through this grid. Here they go.
Pace car is rolling at the moment. So your grid for heat number 1 tonight sees Matt Matuchin off the pole. Sitting beside him will be Scott Butler. Third position will be Zachary Phelan. On the outside of him, Ryan Gorton. Lachlan Smith will be in 5th position, and 6th will be James Robbie, the teammates sitting side by side there. Daniel Gow in 7th position. 8th, Terry Marwood. 9th will be Anthony Bland, and Brendan Hamilton starting off the back row of Heat 1.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see who takes this one. I'm having a look through the field, and I'm going to go with Matt. He was the fastest. Let's see what he does, hey?
Yeah, Matt. I'm going to go with Scott from the outside run. Just see if he can get that run through there. It's all about the start here at the moment. We definitely need to get a good start to get a good run into turn 1.
Yeah, and while we're waiting, here goes the pace car now. We're waiting for Matt to take them. Here he goes, backing them up. Now he puts a foot down, the 49 on the inside, but at the moment it's all Matt Matuchin going the high line, and Scott Butler, he's chasing him down, but he's got the 49 breathing down his neck. And who is that on the inside? Is that Zachary Phelan? No, it's not.
Down on the inside is, by the looks of it, I can't get the number there, sorry, Bernie.
James Robbie. It's James Robbie coming through the field. He's absolutely storming through the field. He's up to 3rd position now in that 41. He just rounded up the 49, and he's having an awesome run here as we see the 49 up into the fence, and he won't play any further part in this Heat 1.
It's unfortunate for Zachary there. Definitely had a quick car under him, just a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, James Robbie now slots into 3rd position. He started pretty low down in the grid as far as I remember. Ryan Gorton 4th, 5th is Lachlan Smith. Then we've got 6th, Daniel Gow. Terry Marwood, he's battling it out at the moment with Daniel as they go side by side here. And then we've got Brendan Hamilton in the 93. Anthony Bland also battling it out with him. And Zachary Phelan, well, Zachary's called it a night. His race is done. But Matt Matuchin, he's leading this lap 5 of 8, Sean.
Yeah, James Robbie managed to get around Scott Butler there. He went a little bit high, got into the wall. That slowed him down. James Robbie on a march. He is in second position. Also second position in the championship. So he's looking for championship points here tonight.
Yeah, we're looking out of the roof of Scott Butler here. You can just see how he's correcting that car compared to James Robbie, just ahead of him.
The high line, definitely the quick line around here this evening at the moment. So exactly the same as what we saw in the street stocks. So that everybody getting that right rear up on the cushion and as close to the wall as they can. The closer to the wall, the faster you can go.
Yeah, coming through now to take the win is Matt Matuchin, followed by James Robbie in second. Third will be Scott Butler, Lachlan Smith fourth, fifth Terry Marwood, Brendan Hamilton sixth, Anthony Bland seventh, eighth Daniel Gow, Ryan Gorton, he retired as well in ninth, and so did Zachary Phelan.
Both of those drivers going to do it the hard way, coming from the back of the A main here tonight.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the weather. 22.2 degrees is the air temperature with a zero wind at the moment. Partly cloudy, as you can see out there. Race track temperature, 36.5 degrees. It's cooled down slightly as we move into the afternoon.
It should get a little bit cooler when the 410s come out. As we've been saying most of the night, we will be under lights and we'll be racing in night-time conditions. So expect those temperatures to drop down a little bit more as we get further into the night.
Yeah, definitely, and we're waiting for them to roll out now. Here they come, folks, for Heat 2. We will have, starting on the front row here, will be the number 16, Brett Junior Morris on the inside. He's got Bob King on the outside of him in the number 51. Moving back to the second row, the number 6 of Cameron Dance will start on the inside of Maddie Reid in the number 46 outside of him. Gavin Sadler in the number 71 will start in row 3, and he's got Ryan Harris in the number 12 for company. Going back to the fourth row, we'll have Peter Honeybell in the 39 starting on the inside of the number 98 of Stephen Williams, and Darren McKenzie in the 75 rounds out the field of nine drivers. There you go.
9 cars here tonight, yeah, in the second heat. So who are you going to call for this one, Bernie? Can you go against Bob and pick Brett, or are you Bob all the way?
I know you're going to be Bob all the way, so I might pick Brett just so we've got something to argue about.
Let's start arguing as we go green on the racetrack. Bob gets a run around the outside. We see Brett down to the middle of the track up high. We've had, I think that's Matt Reid in the background there having a spin through turn 1. Bob slides to the low line, up into the high line as we see Cameron Dance also getting into the mix in third position there.
Yeah, Cameron's having an awesome run, isn't he? As now we see Bob King as they round up poor Matty Reid. He ended up on his lid, his race, his run. But Bob King, there we go. We've just lost Ryan. Who was that? Morris has gone.
Yeah, Morris up high, just got that right rear into the wall, and he did some barrel rolls. So he will be doing it the hard way as well tonight, as we see Cameron Dance getting a great run on Bob King here.
Yeah, Cameron Dance is the spoiler at the moment, isn't he? He's really putting that pressure on Bob King. Can Dance take this? He's going on the low line. King's on the high side there. He loves that right up on the cushion. Then we've got Harris in third in the number 12, Gavin Sadler fourth. But who's that doing the slide job? That's Honeybell. Honeybell took the slide job and got past Sadler there.
Yeah, great move by Peter Honeybell. Just pulled that off perfectly, exactly the way you're meant to execute a slide job. But let's see Gavin return the favour as we see a car upside down as they come through. Ryan Harris upside down and out of this heat also.
So 3 cars at the moment have all rolled here. 2 laps remaining at the moment. It's Bob King all the way. Cameron Dance is chasing him down, but Bob's starting to get his measure now. And then we've got Sadler sitting in third. Good drive by the 71. Then we've got Williams in fourth. Fifth is Darren McKenzie, but let's jump back up the front here.
we've lost Cameron Dance. Cameron Dance is upside down in turn 1 and 2. I'm not sure if he tried to make a move on Bob there, but our second place runner is out. This leaves Bob King all on his own out in front to complete this last lap, and he will be your heat number 2 winner.
Yeah, so bringing up those race results here. Bob King takes the win. Gavin Sadler moves up to second. Stephen Williams third. Fourth, Darren McKenzie. Fifth, Cameron Dance. Sixth, Matty Reid. Seventh, Peter Honeybell. Ryan Eby Harris. Eighth. Ninth was Brett Morris. Looking at it, I think we had, 4 finish? 4 drivers finished that.
Yeah, it was definitely a race of attrition there. Not many people finishing. Seeing a lot of people getting it wrong, going for that high line. Like we said, the high line is the quick line, but it really doesn't pay off if you get that right read into the wall. You will be upside down very quickly.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going straight to the A main here. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Very correct, Bernie. It is a 19-car field, so everybody did get to make it. So good to see some of these big names down the back. We'll definitely have to be watching the back of the field in this A main.
Yeah, I'm putting it to the chat channel here. They're pretty quiet. I don't know if they're all gone to sleep or they're enjoying it, but I'm asking who are they going to be cheering for in this A main. And what about you, Sean? Who are you going to be cheering for?
I'm going to pick a nice dark horse. I believe Cameron Dance may be able to make his way through the grid. He will be starting out of 10th position.
It looks like Ryan Gorton did not make the start of this, nor did Zachary Phelan. He's just come in, so he might have made it. But did you want to take us through the grid here?
Certainly. Off your pole tonight for your Race Merch Midgets A main, Matt McCutcheon will be off pole. Second position will be Bob King. James Robbie off third, and fourth will be Gavin Sadler. Scott Butler will be out of fifth. Sixth position will be Stephen Williams. Lachlan Smith out of seventh, and eighth position Darren McKenzie's. Terry Marwood out of ninth, and 10th Cameron Dance. Brendan Hamilton will be out of 11th, 12th will be Matt Reid, Anthony Bland 13th, 14th Peter Honeybell, Daniel Gow 15th, 16th Ryan Harris, Ryan Gorton will be 17th, 18th Brett Morris, and 19th Zachary Phelan as the pace car pulls in, Bernie.
So here we go, folks, at the start of the A main, and we can see Matt McCutcheon there takes the lead in the 42. James Robbie up to second. Bob King, he's got a bit of a serve. He's over, and that's going to bring out the yellow.
Big crash at the back. See if we can get a replay for everybody at home.
Yeah, that got nasty quick, didn't it? And let's jump back and see if we can pick that up. It actually got worse after the incident with Bob there. But let's have a look here at the restart here. Keep an eye on the 51. That's when it starts, and it unfolds pretty scary after that. You can see there, King up into the wall, goes around. He manages not to get hit, but the 98, I think that is over and out. That is Stephen Williams. So we've lost Stephen Williams. Sorry, go.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there. Big winner out of that, Zachary Phelan. He, off the back there, probably a little bit lucky. He managed to get his way through all of that mess, so made up some good positions there, so he'll be happy about that.
Yeah, one man that won't be happy about that, though, is Bob King. He's out. He's just parked that car. He's got out. He's shaking his head, not too happy. Stephen Williams also retired. He's shaking his head for a different reason. I think it's to get all the dust out of his helmet after that roll. But at the moment, Matt McCutcheon now will be starting out of pole. One of his big contenders here for the crown is not racing. James Robbie, though, he's going to keep him honest and starting out of second. Third will be Lachlan Smith in the 911 and Terry Marwood in the number 10. As we move back to fifth will be Gavin Sadler and Cameron Dance starting out of sixth in the number 6. Out of seventh will be Brendan Hamilton, and then Peter Honeybell out of eighth. Ninth, Brett Junior Morris. He's made a big inroads, and see if he can factor in at the end of this race. And Anthony Bland. Here we go.
green flag on the speedway again. Great start by Matt McCutcheon, pulls 2 car lengths on James Robbie, just sleeping a little bit there. This allows Lachlan Smith to close the door and allow him to have a look up the inside, but he's not going to have enough drive. Second place stays with James Robbie. We go back and have a look at Gavin Sadler working the inside as Cameron Dance tries to come around the outside.
Yeah, we can see there the 39 Honeybell got into the 39 there in the 10. That was Terry Marwood doing a bit of a wheelie down the back straight here, but at the moment up front it's McCutcheon, misspelling that, Robbie, Smith. They're getting spread out here. Here comes Dance trying to close in on them, but he's having a heck of a battle here with Gavin Sadler and Peter Honeybell.
Great battles all through the field. We see Gavin Sadler going low. They get really close. Cameron Dance and Gavin almost touching on that back straight. We see Gavin working that low line still. Cameron Dance in the high line as over goes Peter Honeybell up into the wall in turn 4.
Yeah, we'll say goodnight to Peter. We were riding with him when that happened, so you get a bit of a feel. We've also got, who's that behind him? That's the number 22, is also over. That was Daniel Gow.
Not sure what happened to Daniel there. Might have thought he was going to collect Peter and just jumped on the brakes and got into the wall and turned himself upside down there. So a bit unfortunate for Daniel Gow. We haven't seen him factoring in the timesheets tonight, so very strange not to see him at the pointy end here tonight.
Yeah, he was having internet connection issues there. It was doing a few wheelies and flashing in and out, so I'd say that generally causes chaos, doesn't it? So 2 yellows at the moment, folks, at Eldora, lap 11. At the moment, it's McCutcheon leading over Robbie, and Sadler and Dance have been definitely doing that tonight. That's dancing. But Brett Junior Morris, he's up to 6th now. Can he play a part in the podium? What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, such a great drive from the back. I believe these yellows are definitely helping. If we had green flag runs, it would be harder, but to be in 6th at the moment, he's definitely going to factor himself here if we have another couple of yellows, so definitely a driver to watch out for.
I'm just having a look here. Rolf is saying he was quiet because he's out there painting a V8 while he's watching our telecast. He was going for Bob, but Bob unfortunately retired very early on in this race, and looks like Bob's in our chat room, so it's great to see him out and enjoying the telecast. But at the moment, McCutcheon is leading Robbie. Then we've got Lachlan Smith 3rd, 4th, Gavin Sadler. Marwood Dance is still pressing forward here. And then what's happened to Morris? Where's Morris? 6th place.
Yeah, Brett Morris still in there just behind Cameron Dance. Gets a little bit high, but gets a good run still looking at the back of Cameron. Gavin Sadler making a big move here on Lachlan Smith. Definitely starting to make that low line work.
Yeah, it's definitely coming in, isn't it? You can see Dance is trying to follow him there. As we can see now, Gavin Sadler making that move. It's taken him a bit of time, but it looks like that's pulling off. Dance is going to follow him and see if he can catch the 911. But here comes Morris. Morris goes up high and sweeps above Dance, and Dance tries to go low.
Brett Morris now has Lachlan Smith in his crosshairs, but he still can't. Oh, as I talk, and he gets into the wall and will cause our 3rd yellow of the night. Bernie, I think I've got the commentator's curse tonight, not you.
Well, we've been pretty lucky because the camera was on him when he rolled. But, let's have a look at this. He was having a go with Dance here, and he just got up onto the cushion, and was there contact? So I wasn't exactly watching at the time.
I believe he did it all on his own. He just jumped at the cushion and got that right rear into the wall, and being the short wheelbases in these midgets, they just flip over.
we didn't see the flipping over, but we did see the street stocks earlier tonight. Once they got up on that cushion, they went over it and got sucked into the wall. That's exactly what we just saw happen to Robbie. So our retirement so far, folks, we say goodnight to Brett Jr. Morris. We've also lost Terry Marwood. He's parked at number 10. Daniel Gow, he's retired. Peter Honeybell's gone in the number 39. Bob King, early retirement, and the 98, Stephen Williams, also retired. Ryan Gorton did not make the start.
Let's have a look at James Robbie on this restart. He hasn't been letting Matt get away too far. He's been staying with him, so it gives himself a little bit of gap. We will go around here again, but just watching James at the moment, Matt isn't running away from him too fast. So I'm just wondering if James is biding his time, and we're going to see a late 5-lap run here from James, but he's going to have to be careful because look who's behind him, Gavin Sadler.
Yeah, we've got to come up with a nickname for Gavin. I'll have to ask him offline what he wants to be called. If he doesn't tell us, we're just going to make something up. In fact, if he does tell us, we'll still probably make something up.
I think Gav's a little bit too easy. We have to think a little bit harder than that.
I think so. Here we go. So the 42 leads the 41. Here comes the 71 on the inside. What's Gavin Sadler going to bring to this party as he uses the favourite? Down low. He's trying to round up Robbie on the downside, but Robbie up almost into the fence there. Side by side they go into turn 3 and 4. Here comes Dance.
Gavin Sadler making that low line work. He's just got that car driving down low. He comes in, goes to about mid-track, gets the run, straightens the corner off. We now see him take that second position, and he's off after Matt McCutcheon. Yeah, he seems to get that low line working. We can see Dance trying to follow him. Dance isn't getting as good a drive as Sadler, that's for sure, as we see them come through once more. Now Robbie's fighting back on the high line as they go through side by side again. What's Sadler going to do? Is he going to get this or not? I think he's got it back again, but Robbie's still coming at him. James Robbie may say, yes, you are my teammate, but no, I am not going to give you that position easily. No team orders here. Gavin Sadler on the low line, James Robbie on the high line. We see them going lap after lap, just battling for this second position. As we can see, riding with Robbie here, right up on the cushion there, and you can see that drop off. If they go over the side, that's going to be walling it, and they'll be roofing. But look at these two going at it. Sadler is still making that low line work, but Robbie's just as quick on the outside. Yeah, just watching Cameron Dance behind. He's trying to, as we go yellow, I'll finish that in a minute. We'll see if we can catch who caused that yellow. James Robbie gets into the wall too. I was just looking at that there. Hopefully that hasn't done too much damage to the car. Looks like it was Scott Butler there, by the way that car's behaving. Let's go back and see if I'm right. So we're having a look at the 94 here of Scott Butler. He's running up the back near Matty Reid, and up into the wall. Over he goes a number of times, and he ended up landing on his wheels, but the way that car's handling, I think it's his night done. He's staying out. Not sure what happened. Sorry. No, that's okay. I was just going to say, not sure what happened to Darren McKenzie's. We saw him just come into shot, stop there, so it looks like he may have ran into a bit of trouble also, but the yellow definitely out for Scott Butler and going into that wall. So the question is now, are we actually going to finish under yellow like we did with the street stocks, or are we going to have a last lap dash? What do you think? This will be lap 29 now, so we've just crossed for lap 28, so this will be 29. No, I think we are going to finish under yellow. Just trying to do my maths here. You know, it's hard to add one and one together. Yes, a pace car is lights are out, but when they come by, it'll be pretty much, they might race to the line. That's probably all they're going to do. But Gavin Sadler, you know, great drive. James Robbie, awesome drive as well tonight. And but it's all. Sorry, Bernie, we are going to go one lap. This will be last lap. Here we go, one lap dash as we go green. Can Gavin Sadler make the inside work? We see Cameron Dance go under the inside. James Robbie, he comes back on the inside. Matt Matuchin now with a lead. Looks like he's got the lead. James looking at around the outsides. Gavin Sadler gets a little bit loose. It's going to be a three-way battle for second position. Gavin Sadler, I think, gets it. James Robbie third. Cameron Dance managed to hold on to fourth position.
What a finish. Let's go back and have a look at this. We'll try and get a different view here, folks, so you can get a bit of an idea as these guys are trading places here. Check out second, third and fourth as they come across the line.
I tell you what, the only thing faster than Matt tonight was Gavin Sadler's heart rate when that car went very sideways from that second position. So let's have a look at this replay.
Yeah, tell you what, absolutely inseparable, those three at the line. It was awesome racing there. So let's go through.
Two classes down and two great nights of racing. So I can only imagine what the 410s are going to bring us here tonight, Bernie.
Yeah, exactly right. And folks, don't go away. We're going to have interviews hopefully shortly, and then we're going to have the big bangers coming out for the heats. Well, for the finale. But tell you what, I hope Matt Matuchin isn't wearing VR, because if he is, he's going to be mighty dizzy.
That was some very impressive donut celebrations there at the end. So just so you can follow your favourite driver at home, we'll quickly go through these final race positions. Matt Matuchin in first position. Second was Gavin Sadler. Third, James Robbie. Fourth, Cameron Dance. Zachary Phelan, great drive from 19th to finish 5th. Ryan Harris in 6th position. 7th was Matt Reed. Anthony Bland in 8th. 9th position was Brendan Hamilton. Lachlan Smith in 10th. 11th was Darren McKenzie's. 12th was Scott Butler. Your non-finishing cars for the night: Brett Junior Morris, Terry Marwood, Peter Hannibal, Daniel Gow, Bob King out early in the night, and Stephen Williams, Ryan Gorton rounding out your top 19.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Matt Matuchin, he led every single lap of that race tonight, and it takes a well-earned win. Biggest mover tonight was the number 49. That's Zachary Phelan, coming up 14 positions to finish in 5th, so a great drive for Zachary as well. So it looks like we have James Robbie. I'll bring him up first. James was classified in 3rd, and we'll do the normal tradition, that is you do all the interviewing and I just sit here and look pretty.
Let's bring in James Golden Boy Robbie. James, great run there tonight for second. Obviously, you would have known Bob King was out there early. How important was it to obviously put in a good result to hold on to that championship and now obviously take that championship lead?
Yeah, it was. I haven't really looked at the championship because I don't want to get too nervous. So it's been each week as it comes and just trying to get a good result. But you sort of get used to the past guys being up the front, and the likes of Bob, Lockie, Gav, and obviously Joel not here tonight, and Matt. It's if you're up the front, you know you're doing all right. So sort of had to try and take a chance when Bob dropped out there. I didn't see what happened, but yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, well, definitely you need to be nervous because, as I said, it probably will move you into the championship lead. That track looked very treacherous tonight. How hard was it running that high line? We saw you sort of plant it up there and try and get the run around.
Yeah, I think the setup that we've been using, we've just been doing some recent testing, and the setup came in as the night went on, which was nice, but obviously with that in mind, the track went away. So I think just talking to Matt, the going into 3 was pretty slick, but it was wasn't until towards the end of the race that the cushion started getting bumpy, but it was working. I was definitely had the wheel going.
Thank you for your time tonight, James, and obviously a great 3rd place and a podium for you. Congratulations on obviously taking the lead in the championship. Are there any sponsors you would like to thank tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Just design builders, Manawa 2, and Gavin Sadler Racing, and all the boys in the team. And thanks to you guys too for doing the broadcast.
Thanks for your time, James, and we'll see you in the 410.
Cheers, thank you.
Our final interview for the Dirt Midgets race merch. Dirt Midgets is our winner, and that's Matt Machuchin in the number 42.
Matt, thanks for joining us in the booth. Great run tonight. The clean sweep, time trials, your heat win, and then the feature. How tough was that track out there tonight?
Yeah, it was a pretty tough track. I noticed going towards the end of the race, the cushion was getting a whole lot bumpier and it was getting a whole lot harder to run with the slick, having to lift a lot more. So it was a pretty cool race.
Was there anything special you did to make the car run up high there tonight, or did you just dial it in from the start of the night and leave it there?
Not really. I was using the same set that I've been using all season. I think got a good run tonight, got a bit of good luck, which was awesome, and had a pretty good night.
Great run and a great clean sweep here in the Race Merch Midgets. I believe obviously there's people you'd like to thank tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to thank NZSR, my team, Speed Nation, and all the sponsors that help us out, and obviously all the boys from NZSR as well. Yeah.
Thanks for your time tonight, Matt, and I believe we will see you in the 410s later on.
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks for your time tonight.
Okay, see ya.
Tell you what, Sean, the way we jumped into the gyro cam with Matt as he was doing those donuts, and I'm feeling a bit queasy at the moment, I think.
Going to need a glass of water there and settle your stomach, especially with the 410s coming. It's going to be a good night.
Certainly is. And folks, we're going to go to a very quick break now, but don't go away. We'll be straight back with the WP Concreting World of Outlaws sprint cars here tonight at Eldora. The lights will be up and the sun will be down, and it's going to be exciting. So go and get your favourite drink and meet us back here in a couple of minutes. There, folks, welcome back to tonight's coverage of the WP Concreting World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. As you can see, the sun's down, the moon's up, and that means these guys are getting ready to end the night as it started with a big bang. But tell you what, Sean, we have 29 sprint cars here tonight. That is a massive turnout.
One word, Bernie, goosebumps. I definitely have them at the moment. Seeing an almost full car field here tonight, and also seeing the racing that we've seen earlier in the night, this is going to be an awesome race meeting.
It certainly is. And looking at the air temperature, it's 22.8 degrees Celsius out there, still partly cloudy, cooled a little bit. Temperature on the tracks cooled a lot, 22.8 degrees, down from about 36 degrees that we saw this afternoon.
No sun baking the track tonight, so that is why we see that track temperature come down. Also, very much a drier racetrack, not as much moisture in the track as we saw at the start of the evening when the street stocks were out on track.
Yeah, so they're having a look at the point score. We better cover that off, didn't we? How long we've got? 7 minutes, got plenty of time. Let's have a look at the sprint car point score coming into this round. So Bob King is leading with 980 points, with Joel Berkeley in second on 894 points. James Golden Boy Robbie is sitting in third on 814 points. John Schultz is in fourth on 798. Gavin Sadler, fifth position on 78 points. Then we've got Jock Goodyear in sixth, Cody Morosky in seventh, Billy Ryan eighth, Daniel Vassell ninth, and Aaron Kelly, he rounds out your top 10 as they come into this round.
Bit unfortunate for Danny Vassell not being able to show up here again tonight. We did see him battling for the championship position earlier in the season, just unable to make a few rounds, and we can see him dropping down that championship ladder.
Yeah, and I spoke to him last week, and as you know, folks, he races sprint cars in real life, and he was pretty much saying with a heavy heart that the season is finished now here in Australia for the sprint cars, well, for his class, as we are moving now into the autumn and winter months here in Australia.
Tim Ryan is at the top of your practice timesheets at the moment with a 13.198. Next closest to him is Bob King on a 13.309. Zachary Phelan continuing that great run here again tonight. He is in third position with 13.362. Everybody just getting a feel for this track at the moment, Bernie, during practice. Obviously, time trials is where it all counts.
Yeah, exactly right. And they've still got 5 minutes to sort those cars out, and it's going to be exciting. How about, do you feel like taking the people through tonight's format? And while you're doing that, I'm going to go and have a quick pit stop.
Let's get through the format for tonight. Currently on track, we have practice. We will then lead into time trials. Each driver will get 3 laps on the track on their own. That will then set our heat grids, and there will be 3 heats here tonight. Each heat will be consisting of 8 laps. We will take your top 5, we'll put them directly into your A main. The following cars after that will now have to compete in our B main. They will be going at it for 12 laps, and generally we take 5 from that also. So that'll get interesting at the end of the night. If you can't get into the A main, you definitely want to fight for that position in the B main. That then leads us into our 30-lap feature event here for the WP Concrete Sprint Cars. And if tonight has been anything to go by, we are in for a spectacular race. currently 29 cars on the track. The server can only hold 30, so we are close to a full house here tonight. As I say that, actually, we do fill up and we get 30 cars. Bernie, I was just explaining, we have hit the 30 car limit. Our server is full. We will be full heats of 10 cars, full B mains and full features here tonight. They are going to have to race to get into this A main.
Oh, I tell you what, they certainly will. I think this is the biggest field we've seen in the sprint cars all season, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe this is the first time we have maxed out a server for the season, so great, absolutely great effort, especially this late in the season. Usually you see numbers fall off. However, the Australian Speedway Championship League, we just seem to be getting stronger and stronger, and we see more people coming out and wanting to race in this league.
Certainly do, and I tell you what, folks, keep a very close eye tonight on the number 38. And you normally hear him sometimes up here calling the action. Well, he did last week with you, Sean. This week, he's decided to throw the helmet on and have a run. That's none other than Bailey Hall. And I understand you gave him a few tips in between the dirt midgets tonight and the sprint cars.
Yeah, I just gave him a little bit of a wind-up, and I said the only way to run a 410 is wide open, so get out there and run it wide open. It's a bit surprising, actually, because I thought they said those that can't race commentate, so big shoes to fill here for Bailey.
Certainly is. I like what you said before. You told him to run it wide open. You told him he didn't have a clue how to run a 410. So let's see if he puts you to shame. At the moment, he hasn't had the guts to actually go out on track yet. I think he might join us up in the comm box by the end of tonight.
Yeah, he may jump out of the car pretty quickly once he gets out on track and goes full noise. For anybody out there that hasn't done it and they are watching it, I seriously suggest getting out and at least having a go in a 410. It is absolutely mind-blowing the amount of power that these cars have and the nimbleness of them when you turn them into a corner.
Yeah. Yes, I haven't exactly had a drive in one of these recently, and I probably won't for a little while longer, but at the moment, looking at your top 5 in practice, Tim Ryan is fastest at the moment. Joel Berkeley 1/10 behind him in second. Bob King 1/100th of a second behind Joel Berkeley in third. Fourth is Zachary Phelan, and Ryan E.B. Harris, he rounds out our top 5.
Yeah, the field is so close here in the 410s. Just as we wind down, 30 seconds left to go, just wanted to mention Lachlan Smith. He is actually getting an opportunity to race in real life, a quarter midget in Cullimbullum this coming weekend. So look forward to seeing what he can do from the sim and putting that into real life.
That's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And hopefully, like, I wish him the best of luck for his debut drive in real world. And hopefully, Lachlan, if you're listening to this on replay, come up and have a chat with us and just tell us what it's like to run these in real world.
The gap between reality and virtual is definitely closing, Bernie.
Oh, it certainly is. And it's great to see that more guys in this hobby are getting that opportunity to race in real life as well. And I know we've got a few. I know Jock Goodyear, he's a real-life driver. Daniel Vassell, not here tonight's another one. And there's probably a few more that I haven't picked up yet. Here we go, time trials, and let's see who's going to get to the top of the order. I tell you what, they all came out, didn't they?
Everyone very eager to get their quick time in here. As I just watched Aaron Kelly, he's blown his first lap, put it upside down. He'll have to reset and try again. Not how you want to start your time trial run.
Yeah, so at the moment, Ryan E.B. Harris, he comes out on top on lap 1. What is that? Was that Bailey Hall up there in second? Third? Okay, well, I think he does know how to drive these things.
He's definitely showing me up at proving to me that he does know how to steer a 410. As Daniel Gow goes to quick time, Zachary Phelan slots in behind. Mitchell Gee in third, Ryan Harris in fourth. As that changes, Bob King goes to the top of the timesheets.
Yeah, you can see Tammy Bastian here on screen at the moment as she comes through in the number 13. Where does Tammy slot in at the moment? She's down there in 12th position.
Cameron Dance, after his strong run in the midget, he puts it into 4th position with a 13.574.
So see now Bob King completing his qualifying here and first position there, 13.269. No, he does not. Sorry, that's Tim Ryan has just pipped him to the post there, and he's continuing on in his second. And tell you what, those lap times tumbled, didn't they, once they all got out there and meant business?
Yeah, definitely. The timing sheet was flashing more than my Christmas tree at Christmas time. It does look like it's settled down a little bit, but we see Joel Berkeley just jump over the top of Bob King for that second position. Tim Ryan now pretty much solid in that first position with a 13.189. Second, Joel Berkeley. Third, Bob King.
Yeah, Jock Goodyear's the only one out there now. Left his run to absolute last. Second lap a little bit messy there. First lap good enough to put him up into third, pushing Bob King down to 4th position. And that is pretty much our whole qualifying here, folks. So let's quickly go through them, and you can see where your favourite driver... what am I doing? Going a bit crazy here. Okay, let's have a look here. So Tim Ryan, he takes pole position here tonight in the time trials. Joel Berkeley, second quickest. Jock Goodyear, third. Fourth, Bob King. Fifth, Daniel Gow. Sixth, Brett Junior Morris. Seventh is Cameron Dance. Eighth, Gavin Sadler. Ninth, Zachary Phelan. 10th, James Robbie. Aaron Kelly is 11th quickest, Mitchell Gee 12th. 13th, Ryan E.B. Harris, followed by Lachlan Smith in 14th. 15th, Bailey Hall. 16th, George Fullerton. 17th, Zach Masters. Tammy Bastian 18th. 19th, Scott A. Butler. Carl Hoffman's 20th. 21st, Marcus Knitska. 22nd, Jacob Law. John Schultz 23rd fastest. Brendan Hamilton 24th. 25th fastest is Darren McKenzie. Mitchell Wiley 26th quickest. Michael Wilson 27th. Jamie Owens 28th. 29th, Matty Reid. And rounding out your field of 30 is Anthony Bland.
Good job there, Bernie. We'll let you take a breath. So many cars to get through here. Such a great turnout here for your WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series. As your Heat 1 start to get onto the dummy grid, as soon as they form up, we will go through and see if your favourite driver is starting in Heat number 1.
And we can see there Timmy Ryan. If you're wondering what that black means, folks, that is a WC licence. So what's WC? That's pro, isn't it? Is it pro?
World Championship Pro Licence.
World Championship Pro Licence, Tim Ryan, number 98. So he comes in here with an I rating of 5,177. He's like 5 times higher than what mine ever was, or is. So there you go.
Definitely more than mine will ever be.
So let's go through your grid here tonight, folks. And as they line up, we will have Tim Ryan. He will start on the inside in the number 98 on row 1. On the outside of him will be the number 51 of Bob King. As we go to the second row on the inside, out of third will be Cameron Dance and the number 6, and James Golden Boy Robbie will start on the outside of him in 4th. Third row tonight we have Ryan E.B. Harris starting in the number 12, and he has George Fullerton on the outside of him in the number 500. Fourth row tonight is Scott Butler, and next to him will be Jacob Law. And looking at the 6th row tonight is Darren McKenzie and Jamie Owens.
Each heat will have 10 cars in them. 5 will be making it straight through and getting locked into our A main. All the rest will have to battle it out in the B main.
Yes, Here we go, green flag here for Heat 1 of the WP Concreting World of Outlaws. We can see that is Ryan on the inside. He goes up high now. King trying to get the undercut. Dance is sitting in third.
Tim and Bob switching positions, each of them trying to drive underneath. Tim Ryan now gets the drive through the middle up to the high line, shuts down that line of Bob King. He will be your race leader going into turn number 3 and 4.
We just lost Jamie Owens there, who got turned, and he will be out as King is now up in the wall heavily. He's dropped back to third position, I think.
Into the wall again. That might almost do him for the night. There's going to be some serious rear end damage on that. The big beneficiaries out of that, James the Robbie, Cameron Dances, he goes into the wall. This high line proving to be very tricky to run around. We've seen a lot of good names go into the wall already this early in the night.
Yeah, we can see at the moment Tim Ryan is bolted, and we can see Bob King has retired that car. He is out of this heat. That brings Cameron Dance up. Let's bring this up. Sorry, let's go through this. Tim Ryan and James Robbie, they are battling it out now. James Robbie on the inside. He's going to take the lead, but Tim Ryan's not going to settle down here.
Yeah, Tim Ryan got into the wall. That's allowed James Robbie to run up on the inside of him now. Battle for first position. This is the final lap. Can James get around Tim Ryan? Doesn't look like at the moment. Tim settled back into his rhythm, back onto that high line. He only has 2 corners to go, and he will be your heat number 1 winner. James Robbie in second position. Third place was Darren McKenzie's great drive from a little bit back there. Jacob Law in fourth. Fifth position, Ryan Harris. Scott Butler, George Fullerton in 7th. 8th, Cameron Dance. 9th, Bob King. And Jamie Owens in 10th. Bob King and Cameron Dance going to be doing it very hard from the B main.
Yeah, I was wondering how many knocks that car could take until it was going to take no more. About 3, I think it took.
Yeah, the rear end of these sprint cars is very sensitive, especially when that Jacob ladder gets broken. The rear end basically becomes disconnected from the rest of the car, and it basically becomes undrivable, as we saw Bob have to pull it in there after that second hit, or third hit, I believe it was, on the wall.
Yeah, definitely. And sounds like Bailey, he was in the chat room and he was saying he was loving this. So tell you what, he's making awesome. I was going to say he's making us look.
The microphone.
Yeah, I think so. Especially after we were stirring him up. Well, he gets a last laugh by the looks of it. Just waiting for Joel Berkeley now to take to the grid. He will be starting on the front row here. On the outside of him will be Daniel Gow in the number 22. Second row tonight is Gavin Sadler in the 71 with Aaron Kelly on the outside of him in the 18. Starting out of the fourth row is the 911 of Lachlan Smith, and he has Zach Masters starting on the outside of him. Going back to the fourth row, Carl Hoffman's in the number 3 will be starting out of 7th, with John Schultz in the 78 starting out of 8th. Going back to the 5th row, we have Mitchell Wiley starting out of 9th, and Matty Reid in the number 46.
Matt Reid, also a real-life sprint car driver, doesn't race them anymore, but is still involved in Speedway. He runs a very successful leader car campaign, taking out Australian titles and also club championships. So definitely a well-established real-life driver here, making his way into the virtual world.
It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it, when we get the real world drivers coming in and racing with the sim drivers and vice versa. It's absolutely awesome fun. So who
front rows?
You go.
Yeah, front row tonight, Joel Berkeley, Daniel Gow. Michael is Daniel Gow.
So as we start this race, folks, and I'm going to get tongue-tied very shortly, but Daniel Gow on the high line. Then we've got Joel Berkeley second, Gavin Sadler working that low line. Works for him, the Dirt Midgets. How's it going to go here tonight?
as we see, Daniel Gale gets high and he is out of this heat race.
Well, that's claimed quite a number of cars there. The 2 was involved, the 3, Carl Hoffman's, Aaron Kelly in the 18. He is out of this race. He went heavily into the 22. We've also got another car on its lid at the moment, and we'll tell you that was Carl Hoffman's in the number 3's out. But gathering this up, we have Joel Berkeley now with a large lead over Gavin Sadler. Lachlan Smith 3rd, 4th is John Schultz, 5th is Zach Masters, 6th is Matty Reid, and they're well and truly spread out now.
Yeah, with not much time to react in these 14 sprint cars, it is really hard to try and get around a car that has spun in front of you. They do not turn right very well at all. That stagger really wants them to just turn left, and if you do have to go right quickly, chances are it's not going to end very well.
As we're riding with Matty Reid there, he got into the back of Zach Masters there in the 95 and up into the wall. But have a look at this helmet cam, folks. You can see how much these car drivers are fighting to be able to see through all this mud, and that's where the tear-offs come in, as he just uses it now.
Yeah, tear-offs definitely a must in dirt racing. If you get it wrong and pull your tear-offs off very early, you will not be able to see for very much longer after that, as we wrap up heat number 2 here.
Yeah, so looking at the full results here, Joel Berkeley takes the win over Gavin Sadler, Lachlan Smith 3rd, John Schultz 4th, Matty Reid 5th, Zach Masters 6th. We had a lot of retirements in that one, didn't we?
We did. Mitchell Weil, Carl Hoffman, Aaron Carey and Daniel Gow, so they will all be battling it out in the B main the next time we see them on track.
I'll tell you what, folks, lock up your daughters because Bailey Hall is on the track.
This is going to be interesting.
Certainly will, and I'll let you go through the grid if you like.
As the pace car rolls out off your pole position for heat number 3, we have Jock Goodyear. Second position will be Brett Jr. Morris. Zachary Phelan will be starting out of 3rd. 4th position will be Mitchell Gee. Bailey Hall out of 5th position. Let's see how he can go. Tammy Baston out of 6th. 7th, Marcus Konitska. Brendan Hamilton starting out of 8th. 9th position will be Michael Wilson, and Anthony Bland will be starting out of 10th position here for heat race number 3.
Fantastic. So I'm going to have to go for Jock Goodyear on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to not back Jock, being that he does obviously race these in real life. So much experience in the car in real life, as well as so much experience in the virtual world.
Yeah, we'll see what this race brings. And I think we had, 4 retirements in Heat 1. Let's see if they can have a cleaner race here. But here we go, folks. Jock Goodyear will lead them off. They put the foot down, but Brett Jr. Morris on the outside there. But now Jock Goodyear takes that, and Brett Jr. Morris there just got caught up a little bit, but sitting in 2nd. 3rd position's Mitchell Gee. Then Tammy Bestian is up to 5th position.
Great battle up front. There are 3 cars trying to go side by side. Jockey gets the run now and does start to pull away, as we see Brett Morris and Mitchell Gee battling it out. Brett Morris gets a little bit sideways. That allows Mitchell Gee to move into 2nd position. Zachary Phelan now in on the battle, looking to take over that 3rd position from Brett Morris.
We saw Tammy Bastion there just clip the wall a little bit. She straightened it up. Then we've got Marcus Konitska in 6th trying to hunt her down. Anthony Bland and Michael Wilson at the moment are battling it out. Then we have Brendan Hamilton in 9th, and in 10th position is Bailey Hall.
As Brett Morris gets into the wall a little bit, that allows Zachary Phelan a chance to look up the inside, but just not enough drive through that mid-track at the moment. The high line definitely working here tonight, again, like we've seen through all the other classes.
Yeah, these two are having a great battle here. Tammy Bastion that just got pipped there by Marcus Knitska. I saw in the background, I think she got a little bit crossed up there, and that's brought Brendan Hamilton into this battle as well. But these two are still fighting it out. We have coming down to the last lap here, and so far it is the Mitchell Gee is second. Jock Goodyear's just left the building. Brett Junior Morris and Zachary Phelan round out your top four as Morris is into the wall.
That allow Zachary Phelan to get that third position. Brett Morris is going to hold on to fourth. Marcus Knitska will get your final transfer spot. Tammy Baston, Brendan Hamilton. My grids just went away.
Yes.
Sorry, Benny. The top five there. Jock Goodyear, Brett Morris made it through. Zachary Phelan made it through as well. And we'll just confirm the rest of those in a minute.
Yeah, so Bailey Hall got up to 8th at the end of that. He's now into the B main. And I guess how many of these guys are going to go through to the A main?
Only 5, so this is very hotly contested. 15 cars will start, 5 transfer through.
Wow. It's a hard night for these guys tonight, isn't it? Full field, and, one little mistake and your night is done here. We see them rolling out now, folks. Let's take you through the grid. On the front row, Scott Butler will be starting on the inside of Zach Masters outside of him. Second row, Tammy Bastian. She's starting out a third, and she has George Fullerton starting next to her. Going back to the third row, we have Mitchell Wiley in the number 2 and Brendan Hamilton in the number 93. As we go down to the fourth row, we have the number 6 of Cameron Dance, and he has Carl Hoffmans as his sparring partner in the number 3. Going to the fifth row, we have Bailey Hall in the DeWalt, number 38, and Bob King in the 51. Then Aaron Kelly is in the 6th row with Anthony Bland starting next to him. Jamie Owens is 7th row, and Daniel Gow on the outside, and then Michael Wilson starts out of 15th. I'll tell you what, there's some big names deep in this field, Sean, and it's going to make for some exciting racing.
Yeah, most definitely, and this is the last chance if they want to lock themselves into A main as the field banks up, as we see Scott Butler get a great start from the inside. Down on the inside there, someone clicked the wall. We have got cars everywhere into turn number 1.
Yeah, I'll have a look at who those drivers are. It looks like Mitchell Wiley was involved in that, folks. Bob King, where's Bob? Bob's out. So we've lost Bob, Mitchell Wiley, Bailey Hall have all retired. So that's a shocker for Bob tonight.
Yeah, not the night that he wanted, especially leading both of these championships. Now we see Joel Berkeley will definitely have to try and win the A main now to pass Bob for that championship. As out in front, first position at the moment, Scott Butler doing it easy at the front. He has a 3-car lead over Zach Masters.
Yeah, Tammy Bastian's now working on the outside of Brendan Hamilton. She's right up into the wall there. She's pulled it back in, and here she goes. She's got the 93. That's Brendan Hamilton. Looks like she's made that move. She moves up to third. Good drive there.
Cameron Dance currently on the outside looking in. That is not where he wants to be at the moment. Look for him to try and get this final transfer position.
Yeah, Hamilton up into the side there of Aaron Kelly there. Hamilton's got his hands full. He's missing the front wing, and that car must be handling like soap in a shower. But now Daniel Gow, he's starting to put the pressure on. Here comes Cameron Dance on the inside. These guys are inseparable at the moment. 7 to 12 laps here at Eldora.
The good thing with the sprint car is you can see that front wing has disappeared. So the first thing you do is make sure you move that big top wing all the way to the front of the car to try and give yourself that little bit of downforce.
Just lost George Fullerton. He's barrel rolled that car Jamie Owens has also retired from this race, but up front it's all Scott Butler. He's leading by a country mile over the 95 of Zach Masters. Tammy Bastian up to third. She's just ahead of Aaron Kelly, who's starting to try to close in there. Daniel Gow is fifth. Sixth, Carl Hoffmans. He's still, he's got the front wing back on that car now. And then Michael Wilson is seventh. George Fullerton's still running after that roll, but that car, it's looking a bit second-hand.
The battle is on for the transfer spot here. Carl Hoffmans, Aaron Kelly and Daniel Gow.
Yeah, so we've now lost Cameron Dance. He's the latest retirement. He's left the track, and so he's not going to make the A-main here. But it's Scott Butler here. So let's go through the final results. Scott Butler takes the win over Zach Masters. Tammy Bastian home in third. Fourth, Daniel Gow. Aaron Kelly fifth. Sixth, Carl Hoffman. Seventh, Michael Wilson. George Fullerton eighth. Then our retirements: Cameron Dance, Brendan Hamilton, Jamie Owens, Mitchell Wiley, Bailey Hall, and we just lost the last couple there.
Yeah, Bob King also missing out there, so a bit unfortunate for Bob. Not the night that he wanted here in the midgets or the 410 sprint cars.
We can hear the fireworks, folks, off the track. You know what that means. We're about to have fireworks on the track as we come into our A-main. And tell you what, it reminds me of Melbourne with all those fire jets going off.
Yeah, definitely an extra special feature of this racetrack, the fireworks, before we roll out for the main. We have 20 cars to get through. Your grid is set. Let's get through your feature lineup for tonight. Off the pole position will be Tim Ryan. Second will be Joel Berkeley. Third, Jock Goodyear. Fourth position will be James Robbie. Gavin Sadler will be starting out of fifth. Sixth position will be Mitchell Gee. Darren McKenzie's will be out of seventh. Eighth position will be Lachlan Smith. Zachary Phelan will be out of ninth. And 10th position will be Jacob Law. 11th position will be John Schultz. Brett Morris will be starting out of 12th. 13th, Ryan Harris. Matt Reed out of 14th. 15th position, Marcus Kaniska. Scott Butler, your winner from B-Main, will be starting out of 16th. 17th, Zach Masters. Tammy Basson out of 18th. 19th will be Daniel Gow. And 20th will be Aaron Kelly. Bernie, look out for obviously Daniel Gow to come up through this A-Main field.
Yeah, definitely. As long as he can stay out of trouble. And we've seen deep in that field in the last race, a lot of scalps were claimed. But here we go, folks. Underway, Tim Ryan leads them off. We have Joel Berkeley on the outside. He goes up high. Here comes Jock Goodyear down low. And then we have James Golden Boy Robbie sitting in fourth, but coming under a lot of pressure here.
Your leader, Tim Ryan, at the moment, he is trying to check out. He does not want any of this battle behind him. So we see James Robbie get a little bit loose and just gets the tap in behind. Slow car on the infield there, very close for the 78 of John Schultz there.
Yeah, he's got through, but the 41's around. This is going to bring out our first yellow here, folks. And it got a little bit messy after that. Let's go back. That was James Robbie there getting caught up in a little bit of touchy-feely. Let's go back and have a look.
Yeah, that slower car on the inside, definitely nobody was expecting that car to be going that slow down on the infield. So let's have a look at the replay and see what caused that accident.
Yeah, we'll just go back a little bit further here, folks, and see if we can pick this up. Instant replay back. So you can see that slower car didn't have anything to do with that, but then the 36 got into the 41 there, and the 41 kissed that inside wall. He also got caught up by, it looked like, the 39, but after that you could hear James Robbie there. He was going around checking his car. He has felt that car is not good enough to drive, and it looks like he's retired it.
Yeah, very unfortunate for James after such a good run in the midgets to now have a DNF so early in this A main.
Yeah, so that's a big shame there. But you could, as I was saying, after that incident, he did go around and he put in a half a hot lap. He let the front two run, and he was just testing that car. But obviously, it's not good enough. These cars are highly sensitive instruments, aren't they? I guess we used to call them the Formula One of dirt when I was growing up.
Yeah, most definitely. Formula One because of the power and also because of how fragile they are. Not a lot holds these cars together, so the slightest of bumps can put you out for the night. As we go back green, Tim Ryan with a great jump off the high line. Caught Joel Berkeley snoozing there a little bit as we see Mitchell Gee move into third position on Jock Goodyear, but Jock Goodyear takes that spot back. Mitchell Gee says, no you don't, I'm going to slide under you up onto the high line. As Jock Goodyear goes back under, it is tit for tat for third position here at the moment.
Yeah, and keep an eye on the 911. That's Lachlan Smith now coming down on the inside of Mitchell Gee. They're getting together, getting tongue-tied here, and they continue here under green at the moment. Zachary Phelan in the 49, he's coming through, but he's got Gavin Sadler on the inside of him, and they're battling it out for 6th and 5th position.
Lachlan Smith out after Jock Goodyear. Now can he close that gap? He's going to probably need a yellow to battle for these front two. He'll be putting in some hot laps to try and catch the front two here at the moment. Zachary Phelan and Gavin Sadler battling it out there for 5th and 6th position.
As we're riding here with Gavin Sadler, folks, to give you a bit of an idea what it's like to drive a 410 sprint car around Eldora, and you can just see his hands at the bottom of the screen as he works that wheel.
Yellow flag on the track. Jacob Law was the first to start that, then a lot of cars got into each other after that. We'll try and get you a replay of Jacob Law there and see what happened.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that replay now. He just got caught up into the fence there. He's battling the 75. That's Darren McKenzie. And, he just did it to himself. Up into the wall, over he goes. Tammy Bastian almost cleaned him up, and she bounced off the wall as well. But, yeah.
Marcus Knitska again managing to just make it through there. I believe I'm just trying to catch the other car that went upside down. That will probably put an end to their night also.
Yeah, that was Darren McKenzie.
Yeah, exactly right. You caught it at the same time as me.
Yeah, so our retirements here tonight, folks, is Darren McKenzie in 75's retired, Jacob Law, Mitchell Gee, Daniel Gow, James Robbie, Zach Masters and Brent Junior Morris.
Does Joel Berkeley have anything for Tim Ryan? Tim Ryan's making some great starts here at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see as this race plays out. We are just past the halfway mark. And the front two definitely looking like this is going to battle it out between those two. Jock Goodyear also now trying to get in on this battle. Lachlan Smith also, don't count him out, in 4th. Zachary Phelan and Gavin Sadler. Yeah, it's still anyone's race. Halfway mark here, folks. Here we go. Tim Ryan puts down the hammer. He leads them off. Joel Berkeley follows through. Here comes Jock Goodyear, Lachlan Smith also. Gavin Sadler, he's favouring that low line once again. So we see Joel try to put a move on Tim Ryan, but doesn't get the job done, and he actually loses time. We can see Jock just closing the gap there between himself and Joel Berkeley. Yeah, Lachlan Smith back here in the 911. He's getting a little bit of pressure at the moment from Zachary Phelan. Zachary hasn't made a move yet. He's just trying to close in. And then Ryan Harris, he has Gavin Sadler for company. Battle for your lead. Joel looks again on the inside of Tim Ryan, but can't make that move. Maybe just setting him up. This is opening him up a little bit. Jock Goodyear right on his tail tank as Jock goes into the wall. Does he keep that going? Not sure if that's done any damage. That may affect the handling. Yeah, he'll be feeling that car out now, won't he? I thought
for sure is going to have suspension damage the way he rubbed it, but he seems to be happy with it. He's pushing on as Lachlan Smith is trying to close in. This is going to free Joel Berkeley to focus in on Tim Ryan, but can he catch him? I don't think he's going to be able to.
Lap 21 of 30. It does look like Tim has a measure as we go yellow.
Okay, so let's have a look at who brought this one out. It looks like it could be the 78. That's John Schultz. Let's jump back and have a look at Sorry.
Yeah, if he wasn't the cause, he's definitely pulling it into the pits for the night. So I would definitely focus on that car and see what happened to him as well as he pulls into pit lane.
Yeah, he basically got it up into the fence and turned it. And I'd say that's what's brought it out. But it's interesting because we saw Jock up into the fence, and this was very similar. And this has broken Schultz's suspension by the looks of it. So I would say Jock Goodyear is very lucky not to have had to retire that car.
Yeah, it's all about the angle that you hit the wall. If you go sliding up and into it, you are definitely going to break something. If you just slide along it, chances are you may not break something.
Yeah, I apologise, folks, if I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied. I tell you what, Sean, you definitely give your mouth a workout calling a Speedway.
Yeah, it's full action all the time. There is not much time for breaks. I mean, as much as we don't like yellows as commentators, we do like those yellows to have a breather. There is just so much action always happening on the racetrack, and it is from position 1 all the way through to position 20.
Yeah, and we've only got 12 cars left in this field of 20, folks. It's Eldora's been punishing tonight. Well, it's been punishing all night, but sprint cars have also felt it. Here we go, folks. Tim Ryan will lead them off. We've got 5 laps remaining here. Has Joel Berkeley got anything? What about Jock Goodyear?
The big dash for Cassius. Tim Ryan doesn't go. He banks the field up. Now he goes. If anybody passed him, they would have got a black flag. So that was really smart thinking by Tim Ryan there. Just banked them up and went when he wanted to, not when everybody thought he was going to.
Yeah, and that's really affected Berkeley there, didn't he? He got caught completely out. All the field banked up behind him. He was actually lucky he didn't get run over, but Zachary Phelan now, he's starting to work his way in 4th position, as we see behind him. That was Gavin Sadler hitting the wall, and he's continuing on. 3 laps remaining.
So hard to run this high line. We see everybody now later. It's getting slicker up high. They really have to keep their concentration. It's a lot about throttle control anymore. There's no such thing as just hammer down and hold it flat.
Here comes Joel Berkeley. He's having a look on the inside now, the high side. What's he going to do? I can't even see out of his helmet, but he's all over the back of Harris now. Last lap.
Looking high, about to switch down low. Tim Ryan into the fence. This gives Joel Berkeley the chance on the inside coming through. And as Joel comes onto the front straight, Joel Berkeley will get the win from Tim Ryan. Bit unfortunate there, Tim Ryan getting into the wall and allowing Joel that run on the inside.
I tell you what, Joel Berkeley will be one happy camper. He's trying to chase down Bob King, I think, wasn't he? Bob didn't make it. Joel Berkeley, maximum points.
Joel definitely making himself known as the last lap champion because once again leads absolutely no laps until the very important one.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we will bring up your full race results here. So Joel Berkeley, as you said, takes the last lap, the most important lap, to steal the win from Tim Ryan in the 98. Jock Goodyear comes home 3rd in the number 77. 4th, Lachlan Smith in the 911. 5th tonight, Zachary Phelan, followed by Ryan Eby, Harrison 6th. Scott Butler, he comes home in 7th. 8th, Gavin Sadler. 9th is Aaron Kelly, up 11 positions. Marcus Knitska, 10th. 11th, Maddie Reid. And 12th was Tammy Bastian. Looking at 13th, we're in the retirements. That's John Schultz, Darren McKenzie, Jacob Law, 6th, Mitchell Gee, Daniel Gow, James Golden Boy Robbie, Zach Masters, and Brett Junior Morris. So just having a look at biggest mover tonight was Aaron Kelly, up 11 positions, come home in 9th. Laps most led, Tim Ryan. Most important lap to lead, Joel Berkeley.
Yeah, unfortunately, 29 laps led, except the one that counted, that checkered flag lap. Joel definitely showing that he was putting pressure on Tim that whole time and just forced him into the mistake, hitting that wall coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, definitely. And let's bring up the sprint car points as they came into this. Bob King was leading 980 to Joel Berkeley 894. Joel Berkeley maximum points tonight. That's going to be so interesting next week to see if Joel has made enough points here to actually push Bob down to second position.
Yeah, championship definitely going down to the wire here. If you are following the championship, definitely continue to watch, as this is not over yet.
Definitely not. So we've got who we got down there. We've got Joel Berkeley, Jock Goodyear, Timmy 98. That's Tim Ryan and Bailey Hall. Who would you like to start with, Sean?
We'll start with the podium. So we'll start with third position, Jock Goodyear, I believe.
Okay.
Jock Goodyear, great run there. Obviously, we saw you get into the wall in that midsection of the race. Did that affect your car any, and did the handling change after that point?
I don't know if it changed it, but I don't know. I just lost the rhythm, and then after that's gone, well, then really you're gone. Especially when you got Joel and Tim in front of you. They're not no slouches or anything. They're fast, so I just settled for third after that.
Yeah, it's always a little bit cage rattling when you do hit that outside wall. It's definitely a concrete wall and it doesn't move very far. We were just saying that you did get obviously very lucky to keep continuing and didn't break anything on that rear end. Obviously the cushion here tonight, yet again, so hard to always run hard up against that wall, but it definitely was the place to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's just real rough. It's hard to run, but it's the fastest way around here. So if you're going to be fast, you need to have a crack up there.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm sure there are some sponsors that you would like to thank here tonight.
Yeah, I just got to thank everyone at TTO Esports, all the work that they do, and Joel for all the advice he gives me and everything. So yeah.
Thanks for your time tonight, Jock, and congratulations on the podium.
Thank you. Thanks for broadcasting as well.
There we have it, Jock Goodyear, your third place finisher for tonight. Definitely got a bit lucky there, Bernie. Did say that he wasn't in the mindset after he hit that wall, so obviously a little bit of insight there. It does play with your mind a little bit once you go into that wall.
Oh, definitely. Well, they have to be so focused, don't they? They're doing 13-second laps, and hitting the wall like that is going to rattle your confidence. And once you start, as he said, you start going a bit off rhythm, it can make it very difficult to come back from that. But well done to him. He come home in third.
Yeah, good job from him also. Let's see if we have Tim Ryan here. Tim, good evening, and thanks for joining us in the booth tonight. We saw that unfortunate incident coming out of turn 2. Explain that to us.
Oh, mate, just a lack of talent, really. Not more to say.
Lack of talent or a little bit of pressure there from Joel?
Oh, a bit of both. Yeah, I was struggling at turn 2 all race, and I was just talking to Joel and that. And I think I had the wing a little bit too far forward and was sliding up too much. Should just tucked it a bit further back and then stuck it on the cushion through the apex.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just going to say, how hard is that to obviously have to keep concentrating on hitting your marks every single lap, and then also in the back of your mind having to tune that top wing as well? Obviously, that's extremely hard.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, keeping it pretty far forward would be the fastest way around, but I think with just how slick the track was, just having it pulled back a little bit further back would have been the way to go. Just a little bit of a drive error there again.
Yeah, he did still did a fantastic job. 29 of the 30 laps led in the commentary booth. We were saying that Joel probably didn't have anything for you, so a bit unfortunate there. Are there any sponsors you would like to thank tonight?
Yeah, just like to thank all the boys at ERT, our sponsors, Logitech G, Motem Simulations, GTI, and Joel Real-Time. And well done on Joel for the win. That was a good race.
Thanks for your time tonight, Tim.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for the broadcast.
Tell you what, we're
Definitely,
sorry, you go. We're tripping over each other tonight.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the mindset again, that trying to tune the car and not always knowing where the car is and where it's going to be quicker, and you don't know whether you should change or shouldn't change. We heard Tim saying there that he thought he was right on the money, but it looked like the car was just a little bit off.
Yeah, it must be so difficult too, like... you know, these guys, we saw Gavin there and the wheel work he's putting into this, and on top of that, they're expected to also be able to change those wings in those very short straights.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, let's bring up our winner tonight. That is Joel Berkeley. Going to have to start calling him like the one-lap wonder or something. No, that's not fitting. We'll have to come up with something else.
Joel Berkeley, you have done it once again. The master of the one-lap run. That last lap again there, leading the most important lap.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that it only matters leading one lap, and I think I've done it twice now this season. So yeah, it's only one that matters. So whatever.
Definitely raised our eyebrows in the commentary booth here twice this season. So, but I mean, you always have to be there in order to do that on the last lap, and you seem to always put yourself in the right positions, whether it's to put a move on or even to put the pressure on. So, as much as it doesn't seem like it's the last lap that does it all, but you definitely have to put yourself in there before that position.
No, that's right. You got to be there at the end to be able to have a chance, or you got no chance. But Tim drove a great race there. He just made a mistake on the last lap, and I guess that didn't pay off for him. I felt like I had good pace. It's just when the yellows were coming out at an unfortunate time, and just had to get the laps in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Between you, me, and the microphone, do you actually think you had the car there without that mistake to get Tim?
I think I did. It's just there was two times there I was close to Tim and then the yellows came out. It was just I didn't think I was going to be able to get him at the end there. But I had the pace. Obviously, I got lucky with him making a mistake. So it happens to everyone. So
Yeah, definitely. You were lucky there, but like I said, you had to be in that position to pick up the pieces from Tim. Are there any sponsors that you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, massive thanks to the guys at TTL Esports, Down the Graphics, Ash Media, Hype Stimulator, you guys for broadcasting, Gaff for hosting, and everyone else that makes it possible.
Joel, thanks for your time tonight, and congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Sean.
There we have it, Joel Berkeley, your WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car round number 8 champion.
And I've worked it out. He started coming in this, I thought, one lap wonder doesn't fit. I'm going to call him the last lap assassin. How does that sound?
Definitely works for him. That was definitely an assassin attempt, and it's so heartbreaking. I mean, he did it to Jock Goodyear a couple of rounds ago, and he's done it to him again now. So definitely the last lap assassin should stick for Joel Berkeley.
Yeah, we'll see if he likes that or not. It's either that or I'll come up with something else. Looking at the week ahead, folks, tomorrow night we have the NASCAR boys back for the ANSCAR Thursday Night Thunder starting at 8:40 p.m. GMT plus 10 on YouTube. It'll also be on Twitch, Facebook and Periscope. So you can find all the action on all those channels. And then, of course, Friday night, we have the Australian Online Supercar Championship coming through, round 16 at Zolder for a 40-80 race. So for those who haven't experienced one of these, very, very fast action. They have a 40k race followed by an 80k sprint race. And I tell you what, they also turn it on. So that's Friday night, 9:15 p.m. GMT plus 10. And then, of course, Saturday night, we'll end the week of broadcasting on RRTV with the Sim Races Asia. And that is going to be at 10 p.m. GMT plus 10. So if you like your GT3 action, tune in for that. So still a lot of racing to come your way here, folks. I am so getting tongue-tied here. I think it's time for us to go.
I think we can wrap it up. As pretty much most of the action on track here tonight has been amazing, and we hope once again that you, the audience out there, have enjoyed another great night of Speedway, and hopefully you can join us again for round 9 of the Australian Sprint Car League Championship.
Yeah, so on behalf of Sean O'Hara, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage, and we'll hopefully have your company again tomorrow night. Good night.